Greg Cody is coming here a bit enraged today on two different subjects. One, he is calling Egypt's coach a crybaby.
Yeah.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Is crybaby redundant at Le Batard Show? But more relevantly, he's enraged because he's saying, how in 2026 can no one find out whether Tom Powers is alive or dead? Minneapolis Star-Tribune columnist. Because I'm supposed to be fined $50 if he's not dead, but nobody can find out. And here's the thing. I tried to find out yesterday by calling a former colleague, Jim Capel, and then found out he was dead.
I'm not laughing at his death.
Damn, I missed a good one yesterday.
And so the person that I would have called to get this information is no longer alive, but me and Cody were talking about whether Pablo Torre should dedicate an episode to finding out whether Tom Powers is alive or dead. It seems like something we can answer by simply calling the Minneapolis Star-Tribune.
Yes. Who's on that?
Don't bring Pablo into anything, because then you're going to look, oh, he did this in his life. He was this at 14. It's like, please, don't do anything.
You don't want facts, information, and biography?
I want to let the dead man rest. Never will. Want him to rest in peace.
Crybaby. Is crybaby redundant, yes or no?
I don't think so. No.
I almost associate babies with nothing more than crying. Like, what if we were playing Family Feud right now? Top 5 answers are on the board. What do you associate babies with? Shitting and crying are two of my answers. Like, I don't know what else you guys would choose.
Yeah.
Love, I suppose. That's third. That's the third answer on the board. It got like 15. It's crying is number one.
Love, I suppose, is the formal answer. Love, I suppose.
Shitting.
Show me love, I suppose.
Crying is definitely up there. Shitting is definitely
emphatically
up there.
those.
How about cooing? No?
Out of the 100 people surveyed,
sorry,
they never,
not even 2.
They never called someone 1,000 years old.
Babies coo.
They do coo. That's true. But
show me cooing.
Yeah, cooing.
Oh no.
What coos besides a baby? A dove. Doves coo.
You surprised yourself.
I know.
Doves cry.
It's just a good doves cry as well.
What about Young Wei?
That's right. Whatever you just said.
The kicker, former kicker for the
good yes and by my dad.
Yeah, that was a good job. That was a good job. Okay. Ironically enough, his body position is good. It's the microphone that's too low this time.
I'm literally leaning into it.
Yeah, but you can pick up the. Go
you
ahead.
can move it.
Go ahead and
you can adjust it.
Move the microphone.
How about I just lower my seat.
Oh Jesus!
We're not on visually. That would be funny if we were on
so
visually.
Good visually during this.
Okay. Isn't it amazing? He is so much better visually during the Shadow Show when nothing is being watched than he is during the rest of the show.
Here we go.
Why are you so mad? I mean, I can see why it is that Egypt's coach, Hassan, is mad.
Well, cry like an Egyptian. The problem with that guy is that he thinks one overturned goal prevented Lionel Messi from doing magic and winning that game.
Well, they're pretty valuable, the goals in these things.
I know, but
It's how you win.
He's acting like he's the only team that had a goal disallowed by VAR. It's happened throughout the World Cup.
Yeah, but it's the only one I can remember being disallowed for a foul that happened near their own goal, and then the ball goes down the field in 7 seconds, and they score. And they review it, and the penalty, the infraction was much closer to your own goalie than it was to the other goal. I haven't seen a lot of that in this World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of debatable calls. I thought Germany, which didn't advance nearly as far as it should have. I thought Germany had a goal disallowed for the worst call, the worst reversal I've ever seen. But so it happens. But in this case, the problem is the conspiracy theories. There's ripe ground for conspiracy theories. Why? Because yes, FIFA and Fox and much of the world would love it if Lionel Messi made the championship again. It would be best for ratings. Nobody can deny that. And so that's fuel to the fire when it comes to somebody like the Egypt coach just being unable to just accept defeat and have to look for excuses.
Mike Ryan. Zaslow. Greg Cody. Roy Bellamy. Jeremy Tache. Tony Colariu. Chris Cody. Dan Le Batard.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mic's up. Cue.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Did you feel bad for Egypt yesterday? Because my rooting interests in the last 10 minutes of that game flip-flopped in a way that really surprised me while I was watching the game. Obviously, upsets are one of the greatest things you will find in sports ever. But one of the things I like better than upsets is when an all-time immortal champion is desperate at the end of games and I get to watch the stakes of greatness being greater than it usually even is, even though the standard is very high. And there are very few times in my life that I've watched a sports team and at the end of games, what I have is an appreciation for the immortality and the history that I'm watching. Like in that game where Messi's down 2 goals, they end up scoring 3 goals and winning in regulation in 13 minutes in an insanity. Mike was at the game, and we'll get his thoughts from the game.
He wanted Cape Verde instead of Argentina.
That's true. That's something that he did want. And Messi's team isn't any good. Messi's team should be eliminated from the tournament. Messi's team is still in this tournament only because it has Messi. Like, they've been big favorites in both of their last 2 games and barely escaped, and it's because they've got an immortal. But in my lifetime, the times that I have appreciated what it is I'm talking about the most, a desperate champion at the end of games. Tom Brady, obviously, down against the Falcons in the Super Bowl. Those Warriors late in games when they were down to anybody, the 72-win team, obviously they lost up 3-1, but when those teams were down to anybody late, it was a real pleasure to watch them play basketball.
That game 6 at Oklahoma City is the one, right?
Well, that's one, but they were down so infrequently late that I rarely got the pleasure of actually watching it. But when it happened, it was a great pleasure. Michael Jordan's Bulls were the same kind of things. The University of Miami has had a few football teams like this, but it crept up on me yesterday. I wasn't expecting it to see it. I was not expecting at any point Argentina to be down 2 goals. Cody predicted before that game. He thought Argentina would win that game going away, and they just barely eked it out. And it's because Messi's better at this than anyone else, and he's old.
Yeah, and I don't agree that Argentina is not a very good team. I think they are, but obviously they're carried by a man who just turned 39 years old. And I think one of the things that is special about that game and what Messi did is that he was probably 13 minutes away from his last World Cup game. Cristiano Ronaldo just had his last, and this is sure to be Messi's last. We don't see him in a World Cup at 43. So he was this close to his World Cup stage farewell as he led that comeback. Very dramatic, just emotional stuff. And you saw it on his face. That very close-up shot of Messi all but crying after that game. It was special to see. That's a still from it. Very special to watch.
The 2013 Miami Heat during that 27-game win streak, there were games like that where, all right, like especially the game at Cleveland during that stretch was 20-something, And it's like, all right, they're down double figures, but like they're definitely still going to come back and win.
Speaking of 2013, John Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson won. That was an incredible fight where John Jones, who was doing coke all night and didn't fight, was getting beat up
Didn't
in
train,
the first round, drinking coke, everything.
Chael versus
allegedly.
Spider.
Yeah,
Chael versus Spider,
that's a
like
great one.
so many great ones. Where a champion, where you're looking at a legend and being like, oh, I think he's going to lose, and they come back and
And
win.
in soccer, Liverpool's, I believe they won the Champions League that year, having to come back from, I think they had to score 4 goals against Barcelona, and it was an iconic comeback, led to them winning the Champions League. And U.S. men's soccer, if you can believe it or not, in 2009, went up against a world record holding Spanish team that won 35 matches unbeaten, right in the teeth of their golden generation, their incredible run. The U.S. beat them straight up in a semifinal in the Confederations Cup. I think Spain had been riding a 15-match win streak. Forget unbeaten, win streak. And the U.S. found a way to beat them. And if you remember that match, Tim Howard was getting pelted at the end. Spain played so desperate, it was really impressive.
So was that the first time or the first time since when that you were watching a game and you changed your rooting interest?
It happens at times like this when you're watching an assortment of things you're not normally watching, and I rarely go into games without any kind of rooting interest. I also have to nominate, and congratulations to Messi for being the second place finisher when I'm talking about desperate champions coming back late and being immortal. That was second place yesterday to the Marlins last night against
That's right.
Against the Seattle Mariners.
Finally.
They were up 4-2, and then they were down 5-4, and they win 6-5. And there is something special going on there. I encourage you all to get the value of Marlins TV for the rest of the season for $27.99. That's 50 cents a baseball game. $27.99 you can have for the rest of the season. You can watch the lowest payroll in baseball be legitimately good, because the Marlins are legitimately good. If their pitchers at the top of their rotation can somehow stay healthy, and if Sandy can somehow be what he's been, closer to what he's been over the last month than he was the first month. They've got 3 strong starters at the top of their rotation, and they mash. Like, they hit the baseball. I just can't believe that they, with that kind of payroll, they have turned into something, Greg, that is special. I don't know if South Florida is paying attention yet because it's been super busy, but this team has the best record in baseball since the beginning of June, and it's not a mirage. Like, this is not a hot streak. This is not a Kansas City Royal getting 12 hits in 12 at-bats because Tyler Tolbert gets a bunch of infield singles and is a pinch runner. This is real. The Marlins are good.
I don't like the noises Jeremy's making here as you talk about this. He's making like sexual noises.
They're good. The Marlins are good. Hard stop.
Yeah, I think they're no fluke. They're the story. You could argue they're one of the stories in baseball right now. They've been totally overwhelmed and overshadowed in their own market, though, by the World Cup, by Miami having 7 World Cup matches, by the Giannis thing, now by the LeBron thing. So it's tough to pay attention to the Marlins unless you're a super fan, but they are. They're legit. I want to see one thing now, and I'm challenging Bruce Sherman, who has the lowest payroll because he doesn't want to spend. Be a buyer at the trade deadline now. Before they dominated June, we were talking about, Sandy's going to be traded by the deadline. Be a buyer now. Show that you're in the playoff race. Show that you think you have a chance to not only make the playoffs, but make some noise in the playoffs. I dare you, Bruce Sherman.
Wow, you dare him.
He's been dared.
Bruce Sherman.
Bruce Sherman has been dared.
But not double dare.
Yeah, I was going to
No,
say.
not a double dare. No, I would never do that.
I mean, they're not going to be sellers at this point. Like, Sandy Alcantara is the only guy who's been in trade rumors nearly as much in Miami as Tyler Hero was, where every year he's going to get traded.
Yeah.
And Bruce Sherman just recently on Marlins Radio was talking about he's a franchise legend. They want him to be here.
That's what you said just before you traded.
Yeah, he wouldn't lie, right?
Can I call Jeremy out, though, last night specifically? He was doing the post-game interview with Marcy. And
on Marlins.tv, less than 50 cents a game.
You got to stay in there for that Gatorade bath. He backed out. He barely caught his ankle. We can show the video here of it. It's just, we only got to shoot. You got to lean in there.
Can I be honest?
Stay in the moment.
Can I be honest? If I wasn't being approached where I could watch the Gatorade be thrown at me, because that's what's happening here. I'm facing Jacob Marcy. Otto Lopez approaches from behind Marcy.
I'm telling you to be a pro.
and throws it that way, but you just want it to hit me in the face. Like if they were like the normal Gatorade bath, when you're watching this, it's like, oh, they sneak up from behind, they try to, catch everybody. This was an opportunity where I'm seeing it happen right in front of me. I would have stayed in there. I'm not diving out of the way otherwise, but this one,
You can learn from this. Just watch the tape.
It really messed up my shoes.
You can improve from this.
Yeah, I think it would have been better footage if Jeremy had been soaked by the Gatorade and then fallen backward over the dugout rail. That would have been really fun to watch.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Very professional.
Yeah, thank you.
I think in that particular instance, you want to go for performance over professional. Performance would have been better television if you had lurched out of the screen wet and embarrassed than what happened, which is just one of your shoes got a little wet.
I'm a fair critic. I will give him credit for the post-interview dap with Marcy.
I've never seen that before.
That was impressive. He kind of made up for dodging the Gatorade bath with the dap.
Have you ever seen that before, Dan, where the interviewer post-game, he daps up the player?
Jeremy led
Yes.
it. As you see here, Jeremy leads the dap. Marcy was like, okay, I'll dap you.
Marcy's my guy.
Little chummy. Little chummy.
A little chummy.
Yeah, a little
It's
chummy.
Marlins.tv. What do you expect?
Can I get a ruling from the judge, from Judge Zaslow, our resident journalist here at the table? I need a ruling on whether Jeremy was unprofessional and too chummy with the post-game interview.
All rise. The Honorable Jonathan Zaslow now presiding with prejudice.
Key ruling here.
I do have a question for the defense here before I make my ruling.
Yes.
What was your goodbye? How did you end? Like, did you say something like, thanks, bro? What did you say at the end?
I said, go have fun with your team, because he talked about wanting to have fun. So I said, you know what? Go have fun.
So
Jacob
you didn't
Marcy,
address
congratulations.
him like as if you're friends.
No, because I am a professional.
I'm the one. I'm the judge here.
I mean, you might
Stand
be the
down.
judge. I'm the
Stand
one with
down.
the
Whoa,
Emmys.
you're close to
Stand
being
down.
in contempt. You're the one with the Emmys. You're very close to being in
Wow.
contempt
Stand
in his
down.
courtroom.
Between the two of us, there are 2 championship rings, and they don't belong to you. All right.
Good job.
Did Jeremy Taché behave unprofessionally when dapping up Jacob Marcy? The answer is yes, he did.
Not journalism.
I've never seen a reporter dap up. Handshake, fine. Never seen a reporter dap up the player afterward as if they are friends. That's my ruling. Always prejudice.
Not journalism.
It sounds to me, though, that our judge is slightly prejudiced in that you asked him for an answer to a question.
Yeah.
You got that information. It was information that was not excessive.
Didn't matter.
It was information that you got that wasn't unprofessional.
Right.
It was not extra chummy, and you took that information.
It was just for show.
You did nothing with it.
Valid ruling.
I'm sorry to do that to you, Jeremy, but
It's okay.
Zaz's rulings are always final.
You can watch me be too chummy for the next 5 nights on Marlins.tv. Less than 50 cents a game.
Getting back to
worth every penny.
Lionel Messi. Okay, it's they end up scoring 3 goals in 13 minutes, and I want to go to some of the calls here. This stuff is always better in Spanish. Telemundo, Andres Cantor, obviously the most famous voice in the history of soccer, nails it.
Otra vez Messi. Se debía la pelota que cae al área. No pudo Julián Messi. ¡Gol! ¡Argentino! Que este equipo no te va a dejar tirado, dijo un día Messi. Que está viejo, que tiene 39, viejos son los trapos. Que está fundido. ¿Quién? El relator. Messi. Messi rescató el partido por ahora de Argentina. Argentina 2. Egipto 2.
Vean nada más cómo le empalma Messi. Emocionante. Le metió vértigo a Argentina.
Personally, I don't have enough appreciation for opera to be palpably moved by music, but that's about as close as I'm ever going to come. That guy, that voice, framing the accent on that moment when Cantor's the one who wept when Argentina won the World Cup. He's crying in the box because he's not faking any of that. Like, he goes and gets that from the nether region. His voice is cracking because he's been doing it for too many years, and it's shot from too many goals in this tournament.
And he's Argentinian as well. But the opera the opera comparison makes sense. His last name is Cantor.
That is correct.
Awesome.
Let's go to another, though, Argentinian call, because there is blatant homerism involved with these calls. This is Pablo Giral.
Otro centro más de Messi va pasado. A ver que le pega Messi al arco. ¡Vamos Argentina, carajo! ¡Vamos Argentina, carajo! 2-2. Aquí está el campeón del mundo. Aquí está el campeón del mundo. Vamos Argentina de mi vida. Nunca quedarse por vencido. 2-2. Vamos Leo de mi vida. Vamos leyenda. Leo de mi vida y de mi corazón. Vamos leyenda. Vamos Leo viejo nomás. Vamos Leo viejo nomás. 2-2, Juan Pablo. Esto no ha terminado. No termina hasta que suene la campana, compañero. 2-2.
So some of you might want a translation, and I'm pretty sure I heard in there your mother's a slut.
I think I heard MFer there.
Amongst others.
But did he actually say puta madre? Did I hear that?
I thought I heard that, which I can't believe.
We might need a replay on it just to get ears on it again.
Well, Tony, I'm going to need your help here. You translate as much as you can. Let's get all the Spanish we got in the room because it happens very fast here. But I heard your mother's a slut in the middle of that, and that seems like not what Al Michaels would have done during a historic 1980s call for the U.S. Olympic team.
Do you believe in miracles, motherfucker?
Do you believe in miracles? Puta madre. Let me see if I've got this right. Let's write as much of this down as we can.
Otro centro más de Messi va pasado. A ver que le pega Messi al arco. ¡Vamos Argentina, carajo! ¡Vamos Argentina, carajo! 2-2. Aquí está el campeón del mundo. Aquí está el campeón del mundo. Vamos Argentina de mi vida. Nunca quedarse por vencido. 2-2. Vamos Leo de mi vida. Vamos leyenda. Leo de mi vida y de mi corazón. Vamos leyenda. Vamos Leo viejo nomás. Vamos Leo viejo nomás. 2-2, Juan Pablo. Esto no ha terminado. No termina hasta que suene la campana, compañero. 2-2.
Jeremy, that's a professional broadcaster.
No, you're right. I felt it.
So never in my life, my heart, he said, let's bleep and go, 2-2. And I'm pretty sure he said carajo 3 times.
There was
3
What
carajos.
does that mean?
3 carajos?
Carajo's like,
This one's tough to translate.
How do I explain it to you?
Carajo is a difficult
Carajo's
one. It's like holy shit.
Yeah.
But it's got multiple meanings. Yeah.
Because it could mean super far.
I wish we could say things like that on Broadway. Like something awesome happens. Like when Ray Allen hit the shot, Mike Ingles should have said, holy shit. That'd be great. You could say something like that.
I don't think you can say what he did.
Rebound to Bosch. Back out to Allen. Bang, motherfucker!
That sounds like puta madre.
No, it is.
That's exactly what he said.
You can't say that.
I mean, come on.
If there's ever a time.
That's his Miracle on Ice.
Let's try and define, though, carajo for a second, because casa carajo is, you need the casa to say it's far away.
How do you spell it?
Carajo.
So carajo, the original meaning for carajo was on a old Spanish galleon boat, right? You'd have the crow's nest on top where you'd look to see where land is. That's called el carajo. So people would be like, vete pa'l carajo, which is go far away, up to the crow's nest to go see if there's land.
So in context, what's he saying?
Carajo is a highly versatile and vulgar Spanish interjection. Its exact meaning spans from damn or hell to fuck, depending heavily on the Spanish-speaking region and the context in which it's used.
Carson Beck with his legs, motherfucker!
Those are two excellent calls, and I want to get into the other side for a second with you guys, because if you're Egypt and you've just had your neck stepped on when you're that close to advancing against the defending champion, the best player in the world, and afterward your coach is basically making an accusation that you will never hear made during an NFL game, a basketball game. I can't even imagine what the scandal would be in this country if a coach put his name on what this coach did, which is this game was simply rigged. FIFA wanted Messi to advance. You've got the most corrupt sports organization there's ever been. This conspiracy theory is something that people have been saying for a long time. There's no disputing that the incentive is for Messi to advance and Egypt to not advance. And then to have that particular call, replay used that way to disallow such a beautiful goal that went the length of the field in 7 seconds to go review a foul that was over in your own goal box. That is crazy. And now they're saying that the tournament has been fixed. This is something you do not see in American sports. Not like this, Greg. You do not see a coach come out and just say, yeah, that game was rigged.
Yeah, and the fact that the Balogun's red card had been rescinded by FIFA lends credence to that kind of an attitude that this whole thing is rigged. There's favoritism.
I feel like the closest we ever came to that here in American sports was when Jeff Van Gundy commented about Yao and the way he's officiated, and David Stern almost had him killed. He fined him $100,000, and that was like a coach who is going to say that a game is not on the up and up. I feel like that's the closest we ever heard something.
Yeah, and after the Dallas,
Mark Cuban.
Yeah, Mark Cuban got fined. How much? It was a record amount.
I think it was $1 million. I think he got fined $1 million.
Cuban, but that's an owner doing it. It is. I guess it's slightly different. Maybe it's not. But a coach doing.
He was right, by the way.
Yeah. A coach doing it, though, after this particular game, what you have there, did you guys feel bad for Egypt at all? Did it, Mike?
Of course.
You were at the game, Mike.
Of course. I actually had a lot of interactions with the Egyptians that were there. They were vastly outnumbered, but I got their feelings on the matter, and it surprised you. The people that I had interactions with were pretty level-headed, which is we got by the greatest of all time. They weren't really lamenting the transgression that happened to him, but I also think in part us in the stadium, we have a different relationship with it because they don't show us the replay. They don't show us a full
Did you have any idea what they were going to VAR for?
No, I had no idea. I had to rely on the group chat, and I didn't. In the moment, I was like, I guess I have to trust it because I can't see it with my eyes. After the fact, I can agree that that goal shouldn't have come off the board. I haven't really seen a foul in the build-up called that early in the process. To me, it kind of felt like they went into it fishing for a reason to bring that goal off the board. But, guys, they scored 12 minutes later. If they have that goal, dynamics of the game change. We've already seen how Argentina chases a 2-goal lead. So, miss me with that cost them the game.
Oh, meaning you think because they scored 12 minutes later that if they were up 2-0 there, they may not have scored another because they'd play different?
Correct, because their approach to the game changes. They set back a little bit more defensively.
So you think they got it anyway?
Argentina is more desperate. And hell, say you give them 3 goals. Still wouldn't have been good enough. They wouldn't have won that game if it goes to extra time.
Egypt was great defensively, also exhausted late because of how they played defensively. And that goal, Mike, and then the next goal came with the parking in front of the bus and then a breakaway where you're going the length of the field with just 3 guys because you've got everyone in front of the goal playing defense. The last 2 goals that Egypt scored, the one that was disallowed, were so beautiful. Like in terms of the precision of making your way down the field with just a couple of dribbles and a couple of passes to score goals against Argentina. I would be crushed if I were an Egypt fan, and I would never forget or forgive the fact that that goal was taken off of the board.
Yeah, I see where they're coming from, and now the discourse has gotten a little out of control. But like I said, in the moment, I guess maybe the Egyptian fans that I spoke to about a dozen, weren't fully aware of what had happened, but you scored 12 minutes later. That buildup, by the way, was a testament to the selections that the manager made, because Marmoush is a player of high quality that plays over in Europe, and they put in Hassan, who was making his first start, I believe, and that whole buildup started with the managerial decision there. But you scored 12 minutes later. That's even more momentum. What happened at the end was Argentina scored that first one, and everyone in the building knew, except for me, because I was like, they're deader than disco. They're still dead. They're still dead. They cannot be. They've never been more dead. And then Messi, who at 39 years old,
a good player,
who's completely mastered it, who, by the way, missed a penalty earlier on. It's the one place in his attacking game where he appears to be mortal because he misses about half the penalties.
4 of 8?
Really?
4 of 8 World Cup penalties. People are saying it's like watching the world's greatest chef not be able to make a grilled sandwich, like a grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah, he's pretty mediocre from the spot. There's a lot of pressure there, and I've heard some theories that he has to think, whereas the game comes so instinctively to him that it's easier when it's not that spot. It's the one part of his game where he's a human.
I actually had the thought of, if they get into penalty, because you can't do it, obviously, but he's bad enough at them that I would consider the idea of not having him take it.
No, he's taking it.
I know, but you understand that there are not a lot of times in sports where you're going to end up doing something where, out of honoring someone's greatness, you're going to choose them to do something in a critical moment that they seem to be bad at. Not average at, bad at.
Yeah.
He misses half of them in the World Cup.
Yeah, but the entire team is made up of parts just to feed Messi and him to carry them to victory. It's why people have a problem with Vinicius not taking the penalty. Best player takes the penalty. Even if they're not good at it, they rip the ball away. My team rides with me.
And parenthetically, this has been a weird World Cup for penalty kicks. 40% of them have been missed. That's a high percentage. So it's not just Messi. It's not just anyone. I mean, they've been missing them. Goalies have been making great saves. It's been weird to watch, fun to watch.
And then things got nutty on the Egypt sideline during all of this. And the sideline kept getting yellows, and then eventually it was 2 yellows, and I guess maybe it was the manager or the assistant coach, I'm not sure, ended up getting 2 yellows and a red. And then one of the assistant managers
don't make the gesture. Yes,
you can't do an X.
Well,
the X comes from its derivative. There's different connotations.
Like, I was wondering what that means.
The manager is apparently like a Mourinho stand, and Mourinho did the handcuff gesture when Inter was trying to win a treble. Mourinho's always one to accuse officiating and governing bodies of a conspiracy against his team, and he was emulating that.
When he put the X over his head, that's what that means?
Well, he was like, handcuff me. Like, I can't, my hands are being cuffed here. I don't have an opportunity to win this game.
I think you should also look up, though, there was some writing, there was some reporting done that there were some anti-Semitic gestures done.
There's a lot going on with the Egyptian manager. There was a Palestinian flag inside that stadium. Argentinians were seen holding up an Israeli flag. There was a lot of geopolitical stuff that was swirling around this. But what happened on that touchline was you saw a team lose its composure because they knew what was happening. And Argentina, you mentioned desperate champion. Usually you see that. And what was so impressive about it was, I was like, I think they're dead because they're not really acting desperate. You don't see, like, they're all pretty reserved. And I think they keep all that in because the emotion makes you do some crazy things. And that's why we saw an outpouring of emotion from Leo Messi that we have straight up never seen. Him being thrown in the air, him weeping. He said that he was weeping because he felt like he let his team down by missing the pen. But they were all crying because of all the emotion I think they held in to keep their nerve. And then it all came out after the match. Goosebump type of moment.
When the Egyptian coach is claiming a conspiracy, claiming a rigged game, de facto claiming that the referee is on the take, What responsibility, if any, is he putting on his team, his defense, for allowing 3 goals in 13
Well, no,
minutes?
he's saying it's an injustice. Like he's
Again,
not.
they scored after, so it just you missed me with all that. What happened was the greatest player of all time just didn't allow his team to lose to a lesser team. We see big underdogs in that sport. We've seen that several times this tournament. A lot with the African nations. Big leads go away late. What happened there? You don't want him to admit that, we just weren't good enough. I blew it, or our team just lost gas. It's easier to point to a conspiracy. But let's take this back to the conversation that we had about Balogun. This is why optics matter in a sport that has been rife with fixing scandals and whatnot. Yeah, FIFA, which already there's a narrative about they make favors for Messi. How did Inter Miami make the Club World Cup? They just made up the rules as we go. And this is when the American politics injecting itself into it and Infantino's close relationship with our government, you just point to an article, Article 27, where it's like, wait a second, we knew about that article. That's not the interpretation of the rule. So that's why the Balogun thing was so damning, because it seemed as though you were just straight up rigging the game, for one, and you've opened up the can of anacondas to now where everyone can openly speak to conspiracies.
I would like you, though, to stop with, and I understand what you're doing there. It does change the way the game is played. But when you keep saying they scored again 12 minutes later, I think it was actually a little bit faster than that. When you keep saying that, what you're ignoring is that there is no fan base in the history of Earth that wouldn't have made the same kind of complaint based on what that call was if your rooting allegiance was Egypt. Like, you can say what you think would have happened next or what did happen next and how it would have altered the game, but if that was your team, Mike, that had that goal disallowed, when goals are that valuable, any fan base that's ever existed would concoct complaints, crybaby stuff. There is not a human being alive who has cared about sports that would have a rooting interest in that game that was Egypt's and say that was just, because it didn't feel like it was just.
Well, I think in the build-up to the third goal, Argentina had a foul similar in the build-up that people were pointing to and say, how is that allowed? I hear you, but I do think context matters. I do think Egypt scoring the second goal, which was later in the game, that effectively felt like they put this thing away, is an important thing.
But you wouldn't be saying that if you were caught in the emotion of, I just got robbed. We play this game once every 4 years. Egypt has never had a game that's this important. We had the defending champions beat, and we just got it taken from us. We got a beautiful goal taken from us from an irrelevant call that was literally 100 yards away.
Yeah, I looked at that game. I'm like, make it 3-0. And Messi finds a way to come back. I mean, he did. They did score 3 goals in the final 13 minutes or so. So what I don't like about—
you can't do that if you're saying that they wouldn't have gotten a third goal if they were up 2-0. The game changes. Mm-hmm. You can't then also say if it were 3-0, they still would have gotten 3 more goals. Argentina, the game would have been different.
I mean, they
were
defending just as hard with up 2 that they would have been up 3, and clearly they didn't have an answer for Argentina chasing that game late. What I don't like about it, and it goes back to the Balogun thing, is what we saw was an all-time display and people are so hesitant to just crown all-time greatness when it's happening, because we're always comparing to Ghost, because there's a weird tribal thing that happens with Messi v. Ronaldo and Messi v. Maradona and Messi v. Pelé. This is an all-time great player. He's the greatest player of all time. He just capped off one of the more improbable comebacks of all time inside of regulation. I hate that it's marred by that. We can all admit, down 2 goals in a World Cup against a defensive-minded team, that's damn near impossible to win that game inside of regulation. He did it. It was his crossing. It was his finishing. He also did it missing a penalty in that match. For one brief moment, let's step back and say that at 39 years old, he is somehow better than ever. He put his team on his shoulders, a team that, as Dan touched on, has not played well this entire tournament. He's the only guy doing anything. It was only until they were down 2-0 that guys like Enzo woke up, McAllister woke up. They've had very few individual players step up and play well. Most of them have just flatly played poorly. He is wheeling this team to victory. It was probably the signature performance of his illustrious career. I know that's hyperbolic. This Argentina team has played 3 of the top 5 World Cup matches on the men's side I've ever seen, and they've done so in the last 4 years. He's incredible.
Earlier in the tournament, Belgium beats Senegal in a very similar fashion, but it didn't get nearly as much attention. Not only because it was earlier in the tournament,
it wasn't in regulation either. They needed overtime. Like it wasn't 3 goals in the last 13 minutes.
But if I may, a controversial call decided that one. We're tracking back to a goal that was taken off the board, and eventually Egypt did secure that second goal. The big controversy in the Belgium match was they got a pen that made it 3-2.
Right, and the big controversy here is the complaint of the Egyptian coach, but that's off-putting to me because, as you say, credit Messi the greatest of all time. We overuse the word GOAT. He's the GOAT, and there's no question about that, and he showed why, and it was such an illustrious performance by him, scoring the first goal, assisting on another. He rose as high as he's ever risen on the mountaintop, and credit that. Quit complaining because your defense gave up 3 goals. Well, Messi is the reason they gave up 3 goals.
Similar to the Jaylen Brown trade where like we couldn't find anyone, within the 24, 48 hours afterward who was on the Celtics side. Has anyone said, I think VAR was used properly and that goal it should have been disallowed, like they got it right?
Happens. Again, the people that I had a wonderful interaction at the TSA line in Atlanta with this wonderful family of Egyptians, and the little boy had his face painted in Egyptian colors. Many of them were happy that they were there, happy that they had the lead, understood that eventually the greatest player of all time got him. The Egyptian kid that I was talking to, underneath his Egyptian national team jersey, he was wearing a Messi shirt. So he was really confused. I ended up giving him my match day scarf because the dad offered to buy it for me. I'm like, no, you have it. To many applause from the TSA.
A lovely World Cup
gesture.
moment.
I was like, here you go. And everyone was like, yeah. And then his little sister came up to me.
Yes.
His little sister came up to me. She's like, we have 3 of them already. I'm like, I'm an ally.
Not the only interaction you had at the Atlanta airport, right?
Yeah, I was at the standby line. Very fluid trip for me. Off the train, into a plane, lovely public transit system that they have there. And I was waiting for my standby assignment, and I was met by this producer. He's like, hey, are you Mike Ryan from the Le Batard Show? I'm like, yeah. What can I do you for? And he's like, do you do podcast interviews? I'm like, I pretty much say yes to everything. Just send me what we're talking about. He's like, cool, I'll book you down. You familiar with Adam 22?
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings Sports. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
A couple of those Egypt goals, including the one that was disallowed. Zico was the goal scorer, Egypt's Mustafa Zico, and his quote is the following. Quote, "It's clear that this tournament has been fixed." End quote.
It's clear.
You just don't see that very much. Like, it's just, it's not that plainly stated.
It's what they wrought. It's what they brought on with the Balogun thing. I'm telling you. That's why optics matter in a sport that is supposed to aspire to objectivity. They famously have officials that have zero ties to either of the countries because there's supposed to be impartiality here. And growing suspicions, things that you can point to. Yeah, Inter Miami making the Club World Cup is a little weird, but whatever. They just made it up. But it just adds fuel. And when you have the Balogun thing burst through the dam, now you've allowed for everything to have credence.
The goalie can't be the one who says that, because if he stopped the shots, they would win.
No, it wasn't.
But it wasn't the goalie.
He
It was
the goal
Zico.
scorer.
Who is
It was
the goal scorer?
Yeah,
Oh, you're such a
Oh,
professional.
excuse
Big
You know
difference.
what?
Quite the opposite, actually.
I'm going to punish you now by making you do a World Cup segment. I'm going to.
I got a lot to say on World Cup.
Okay, I'm going to punish you, and you deserve it for that mistake.
Hey, make sure you're not late. It's time for Zaslow's World Cup update.
I mean, I don't know what that was. Trying to do a World Cup update. What the hell are you doing there? I do have a few more things I want to say, Dan, as far as the World Cup is concerned. Now, because yesterday was the final round of 16 game. You know what comes next? You know what's next after round of 16?
I cannot believe how electric this World Cup has been.
It really has
so
been.
good.
We finally have the good matches that give life to this being one of the greatest tournaments of all time. We were missing those bangers. And Argentina in back-to-back matches give us instant classic after instant
The
classic.
Cabo Verde game was insane.
Against all-time African underdogs. They run up against the greatest player at the tail end of his career, still having enough for one last
Mike,
job.
let me tell you what, that 13 on Cabo, what a shot.
This is
Shot of the
incredible.
tournament.
A
Did you see it
world-
bend?
And how about those
Did
fans?
you see
It
it
was
bend,
a
Dan?
literal movie.
It was crazy.
He runs into the sand,
Gets
finds
over.
his lady.
Boom.
That's how you end the movie, folks. That is
He was looking,
unbelievable.
and the security was like, no, go back. And he's like,
That's
no,
love.
no, where is she?
That's love right there.
She's got to know also to come down the stairs. What are you doing?
I'm the one who's doing this.
Your second topic, Zaz. Do you have another World Cup topic?
Well, I'll tell you what. All right, I don't know why you're saying it like that. But anyway, I have other things that I want to talk about. You know what? You can't take this away from me. I don't know if you saw this past Monday night.
CM Punk returns to WWE. After months away
Really?
and all sorts of rumor and innuendo, he's not on the right side with TKO. Comes back in his hometown of Chicago and beats Sami Zayn, whose title reign lasts about a week. Much fanfare in Chicago.
CM Punk related to Daft Punk at all?
No, not at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but CM
Daft Punk's good, though.
Not unlike Messi, later in his career, finding top
gets
form,
to talk about this
his
instead
body
of me.
looking incredible.
Hit
You know what
that
this might
guy.
set up? Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk at SummerSlam.
Greg Cody Rhodes.
I'm
Hello.
going to SummerSlam. I want
There
to
you
talk
go.
about this.
Well done, Jeremy.
Your third topic,
gotten
Zaslow,
the
of
laugh.
this World Cup update.
You know what? Actually, I'll allow you to call it that here because there's a movie that just came out that I want to watch. It's by our pal Billy Corbin. It's called God
That's
Forbid.
not just coming out. It's
5
the
years
most
ago.
popular documentary in the history
It
of Hulu.
just came out.
No, I mean,
Dan,
it was
you saw the
several
movie.
years
What did
ago.
you
It
think?
was excellent.
Yeah,
was,
why don't you have a turn here?
It went.
You got a pre-screening?
It went deeper into religious power and cuckery than I've
got
ever
advanced
seen a
screening?
documentary. I didn't get an advanced
How
screening.
cliche, a pool boy.
This movie, yes, and distinctly Cuban pool boy. Like, just not actually a pool man, a very pool boy. A Cuban kid who's not fully grown up, who was having sex with the wife of Jerry Falwell's sons,
Spoiler
the
alert.
president of Liberty University, his wife, and he liked to watch it in a corner of the room while he was wearing very little clothing.
This is why it's called World Cup.
All right, get back in this seat here. Get back in the seat here that is a prominently featured seat. That concludes our first ever World Cuck update. Excellent work by you. The end of the last hour, I thought, ended with perfect words and numbers together when Mike Ryan ended the segment with just the words and numbers, Adam 22. But Greg and Zaz were just staring at each other, wildly confused. And I don't know how much of our audience, I feel like I know our audience pretty well, generally speaking, what our audience knows about and doesn't know about. But on this one, I'm not totally sure. So when the segment ended and Greg asked me, who's Adam 22? I didn't get that. I was then in the awkward position of trying to explain to him he's probably America's most famous cuck at the moment, even more famous than Falwell's kid, even though Billy Corbin did the, God forbid, documentary on Jerry Falwell's
So
kid.
you just left it at world's biggest cuck at the moment. That's what you.
Well,
that's what you have in your arsenal.
Well, what else would you like me to say?
By the way,
Podcaster.
It's worked out for Adam 22.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, but he is famous not for being a podcaster.
It was cute that Zaz was pretending he didn't know who he was.
I have no idea who that is.
Sure. I think you see that guy and you're like, goals.
I'm going to look him up now.
Yeah, Google him.
I don't know who would finish second place right now in terms of famous cuck likes to watch his wife have sex with others. For those of you not familiar.
I've seen this guy before.
That was it. Are you going to do the show, Mike? Do you think you will indeed?
I have to do a little bit more research because I don't want to make waves for the company. I don't know the full history there. Admittedly, there's only a couple of things I know about Adam 22, and I express this. Let me check and research and make sure I don't make waves here for Metalark. And the response from the producer was, Adam doesn't make waves, he makes tsunamis. So...
Good bar by that guy.
Give me a little.
That guy knows what he's doing.
He works with
a
a lot of great talents. Afro Man, one of them, and Killer Mike, another one of them. So I'd like to be in that family, but I also got to do some research.
Just be careful what show you get booked for. You never know. All of a sudden, you got a lot of explaining to do to your wife.
I want to have the conversation
Scooby-Doo
with Greg Cody about the United States soccer team because Christian Pulisic is getting crushed by everyone. It is loud, and yesterday on the show, we were having the conversation about whether or not the World Cup was a success for the United States. I maintain, and I'm the only one here who maintains it because the volume has gotten really loud around this team, that the United States met very middling expectations and therefore advancing to games that matter and the round of 16, I believe, is a success. And I think of them, I don't know, what would they be if they were a college football program? Louisville, Memphis? Like the United States would be somebody who's always around 16, around 17, around 20, others receiving votes. Like what would be the program that would best represent in college football what the United States actually is on merit? Not what you expected because they were a host country and all of a sudden they were favorites in 5 games and you expected them to beat Belgium and they end up disappointing you. Would it have been a failure if the last game they lose in penalty kicks or they lose 1-0? Would you guys view this all as a failure?
No.
So it was the way the last game specifically went.
Yeah.
Yes, they embarrassed themselves. From the beginning, I didn't get a sense of this is an American team that thinks it can win. The goal that Matt Freese gave up was just diabolically embarrassing, like unfathomably embarrassing.
The worst of the tournament, right?
The worst of the tournament. Tim Ream could have stopped a goal and didn't.
He got mossed.
He's spent. And Pulisic, look, he's done being the face of this team. This team is not going to move forward if he's the best player. It's as simple as that. I don't expect them to have an Mbappe or somebody like that or Lamine Yamal. They got to come up with new talent. It's just not good enough. To your analogy, college football, they're Cincinnati. They're the team that's thrilled to be 19th, and 0 people think they're going to win the World Championship. You know, it was very disappointing. It's not a successful tournament. They had an easy run. Right up against Belgium, and they should have won. Now, if they reach the quarterfinals, everybody says it's a successful tournament. Everybody.
Here's my perspective on this, and I really think that we don't have quite an appreciation for how the sport gets passed down in other countries where the sport is 100 years old. What's MLS? Is it even 30 years old? Like, basically, the best American soccer players have to do what WNBA players were doing recently. You have to go somewhere else to get the big money. You can't get it in this country. We are, whether you like to think so or not, new to this. I know it doesn't feel like it because we've been talking about it for 40 years, but we do not have the pedigree of Belgium or any of these countries that have been playing soccer for 100 years. And when
on the men's side.
On the men's side, when Zaz talks about yesterday, he says that he believes that American athletes, if they all went into soccer, that we would have the best team. And I understand how it is that he arrives at that appraisal. I would also say I'd frame the question differently. Go ahead and give all the other countries America's means and see if you don't find that the best athletes are also there who don't have access to some of the things our athletes are able to have access to. And so therefore they get into situations where they can play all of the other sports as well. You've seen, when I make the comparison of 30 or 40 years new to this, you've seen the world catch up to the NBA in basketball, right? You've seen it happen since the NBA went global, and all of a sudden it became a thing everywhere where the cultural cachet of being great at that sport matters so much that everyone's fighting over the money. You've seen that happen in basketball. The world has caught up to the United States. It's going to take us about that long to start developing the same kind of soccer stars that will merit top 10 in this tournament instead of top 20.
Okay, so a lot to chew on there. I haven't had an opportunity to even speak about what happened there, but I do agree. They found a way to burn up all the goodwill. That was the only way that they could do it. Get destroyed. Look pathetic. Be as bad as you were, while also having all the nightmares. Is Freeze good enough? Is Tim Ream too old? Is he going to get caught in a bad spot? Is Pulisic too fragile? Is this team, whose maturity has been questioned for an entire World Cup cycle because of the backroom fighting and calling daddy to help bail you out of a situation, is that all going to play out? And in one singular match, it did. And oh, by the way, politics got involved too. They reached out and took the World Cup, and I've spoken to some people around U.S. soccer. They wish that stuff had never happened.
You happen to know?
I happen to know. Like that put them in a bad spot. So I would love to touch on Pulisic, but let's talk about like why we're where we're at.
So wise.
We are the only developed Western country that does not fund its Olympic sports. There are carve-outs the world over. For Olympic sports, we don't do that. We have a pay-to-play system in soccer especially, and in the rest of the world, these clubs are incentivized.
I was reading about this yesterday. It's really interesting.
It's like precious resources. You go into the favelas of Brazil, you find the next prodigy, and you sell him for millions and millions of dollars to the next feeder club until it obviously ends up somewhere in Barcelona, Real Madrid territory. But that's the business model. You go out, you find, you scout, you develop, and you sell the player, and that's your business model. Here, it's inverted.
I mean, I went through it here. My son played years of travel soccer.
Now, it's like that for basketball. It's become that way for basketball. It's become that way especially for baseball. And by the way, on the international level, the U.S. does not have the success that other countries have shown. So it's already caught up in some of the sports. But until this is changed, until you have local MLS clubs and this private model can see that, okay, maybe the coaches behind the scenes and these little travel teams don't make the money. People are going to make money off of this if you change the system. Just, it's going to take time to template. It's going to take time for the clubs to actually see a return on their investment, and nobody wants to stop the money train right now. They don't. You need to go out. You need to find a 7-year-old. You need to invest in their education, pay for their schooling, pay for their development, and sell that player for millions of dollars. That takes time. You're telling me I won't get an ROI on this for maybe 5 to 8 years, 10 years? No, thank you. Let's just keep it going. So that is the fundamental issue with U.S. soccer presently, and it's going to come to all the sports. It's only a matter of time. The reason why Europe is like this is not because they're socialist commies. They did this because they had 100 years heads up. and found a system that worked.
So it wasn't always like this from the start.
No, they had to find their way. When I worked with Chelsea, I spoke to a person that was ahead of their academy. I'm like, how do you even scout a 3-year-old? How do you even do that? How do you scout a 3-year-old for a parent club that is looking to either develop that player into a star for themselves or sell that player later on? You find one thing that they are elite at, one skill that flashes, and you work with everything else. I'm just astonished at how you can look at a 3-year-old and make this investment. But it's happening. You see, college athleticism is going to make its way to this. When Lane Kiffin offers, a 7-year-old a scholarship, it's going to be that way. We are going to eventually find our way over to a European model. We're just playing a 100-year catch-up.
Greg, which of these do you find more interesting as subject matter? Men in Blazers pointing out that the World Cup quarterfinals will feature none of the 20 most populous nations on Earth, none of the top 20. Or Carly Lloyd saying on X about Pulisic, you rest when your playing career is over, period. Every star American voice I have heard, male or female, Landon Donovan as well, is just crushing Pulisic for taking himself out of a game where he lost possession 11 times in 45 minutes more than anyone else on either team.
I think he merits all the criticism he's getting. He's the only star of this team. He's the only player we saw on TV commercials in the build-up to and during the World Cup. He's the star. He was supposed to be the leader, and he did the opposite of lead. You can't blame him. He wasn't totally healthy in the World Cup.
Everyone's blaming him. What do you mean you can't blame him? Either blame him or don't, because everyone's blaming him.
Okay, let me finish. You can't blame him because he wasn't totally healthy in the Cup during the Cup run, but he was healthy enough to play, and he was healthy enough to succeed when he plays, and he didn't. He didn't do that. He's worthy of all the criticism.
How do you know he was healthy enough to succeed when he plays if he played and didn't succeed?
Because he wouldn't have played if he wasn't
Greg,
able to play.
Greg, let me help you out here, because over the course of his very charmed career, I might add, a career that is decorated, a career that, for my money, is the single best career of a U.S. men's soccer player ever. He won a Champions League with Chelsea. In that run to the Champions League, he was the best player on the pitch, in my opinion, against Real Madrid. For stretches on end, he was the best player in Serie A. The thing about
the
Christian
consensus
Pulisic
is he's the best American player there's ever been, correct?
on the men's side, easily. But throughout his entire career, we've been coddling him, and he's been on a load management plan. He is obviously very fragile. He's small.
Injury prone.
He is prone to soft tissue injuries. We get that. The problem that everybody had, outside of being dispossessed 11 times, and by the way, the one goal that the U.S. did score was because Christian Pulisic had an involvement in the buildup. They just had nothing going. Nobody was good. I also am a fan of Bill Simmons' view on things, which is like, that looked like a player that just realized he was no longer the most popular player, no longer the best player. He didn't get any of the headlines. It was all about, we moved on to Balogun. So his comments were after the match. Now it's time to get rest, so it'll be okay. And Sidney Leroux was right in saying he rested the entire World Cup. Carly Lloyd, you rest when at the end of your career.
Here's Landon Donovan's quote on the matter. The quote, "The reality is he came out of a World Cup knockout game at home with his legs still intact. You would have had to bleep and drag me off the field, and I would have punched the doctor in the face and said, you're not taking me off the field. Put whatever you need to put in me. I'm staying on the field."
I agree with that.
It's a World Cup.
Because all the load management, all the coddling, you don't play in the last Gold Cup to help because we need your body ready for when you're in the prime of your career at 27 years old. Again, like this nation has suffered because of how we have treated him with kid gloves. For that to be the tone-deaf response after you just got eliminated in a game that you kind of asked out of, it's over. There is no more time to rest. It was about being a host nation at 27 years old. You tone-deaf fool to have that quote after the match. Buddy, we're done. Enjoy the Home Depot ribbon-cutting ceremony. Enjoy being featured in the commercials 4 years from now. Enjoy being on the Fox broadcast. You are now yesterday's news.
Yeah, I don't think he'll play again for the USMNT. And remember, when he elected to skip the Gold Cup, He's showing Instagram photos of him on a beach in Hawaii or something. The optics were bad.
And all this mess that happened at U.S. Soccer with the Reynas and the Berhalters, all the questioning of maturity, he's been captain before. A lot of that stuff happened on his watch. And we saw an immature nightmare play out on the field in which he was one of the main attractions for, and everything played out. Are you going to be that dog? Are you going to be healthy? Are you going to tell your body, not today? Sorry, we've turned the page. Christian Pulisic, enjoy MLS. You are no longer the face of this organization. We are moving past you.
Put it on the poll, please. Pulisic, tone-deaf fool, yes or no, at Le Batard Show. He's getting hammered because he played poorly, but he's also getting hammered by the dual criticisms, and this one stings, is we have to have someone to blame when that's the result, because the blame is going to go everywhere, and he's our most famous player. So the expectations go to die with him, but also he was the biggest problem. You can blame everyone else, but you don't even know the names of some of those people. Most of the casual fans, most of the people, I can't tell you how many of my friends are reaching out with, oh, good.
Soccer friends?
I can go back to hating soccer now, not soccer friends. I can go back, anti-soccer.
Fugazi soccer friends.
I can add to the list.
My anti-soccer friends.
Because they performed like that. That's what they gave people. That's what they armed people with. And out of all the players, he couldn't have said that. I'm telling you, it's been a decade plus where we're like, be careful, Christian's our best shot. He has to be our best player in 2027. And for him to still talk about like it's a pre-2026 issue. Oh, I'll save my body. Save your body for what, pal? You were saving your body for this. You didn't play in the Gold Cup for this.
Right.
Yeah, we're constantly calling in favors to the clubs that you're at. Please be careful with Christian for this moment. The moment came and went. You were especially bad in it. And then you have that quote afterwards. Brother, get out of here. That's it.
Yeah,
Enjoy Austin FC.
Right. I think his entire career, his entire future really deflated in the game against Belgium. Now, you can't oversell how crushing it was. It's a 2-1 game, and Freeze makes that awful play coming out of goal and then having the ball turned around and put in the net while he's staring at it. That you can't overplay how crushing that was, but I blame Pulisic for a lot of what happened the other night. Just awful.
He's really getting crushed because what has happened here that has caught me a little off guard in terms of the volume around this. When you take American entitlement and wrap it with American expectation, what you get is really rabid sports opinions that people have not had on soccer in the last 4 years because they wanted to go and feel good about their country. Look, it's harder than it's been for a minute to feel good about the country given everything that's going on with it. And so the amount of expectation I thought wrapped around this team was unreasonable given what I've seen the last 40 years and given what I saw over the course of this tournament where the volume has gotten so loud that I feel like I'm on an island saying, look, they performed to about what their expectations are. It's who they are. They were favored against Belgium, but a small favorite, and it was based on home country, and I was surprised that they were small favorites just because does anyone not pay attention to what this team has been, not just the last 40 years? Recently as well, you should not expect them to win a round of 16 game against anybody, really. Like that's not a reasonable expectation in my lifetime.
You know what's been going on with Zion his entire career, where it's taken forever for Pelicans fans to finally crush the guy because we can't have him be this sour superstar. If he's ever healthy, we need him to re-sign with us. If he's ever healthy, we got a shot. And then it eventually gets to a place where you're like, man, get this guy out of here. That's where we are with Christian. This was people biting their tongues for years because of how we all understood he was our best chance. I maintain that. As disappointing as he was, I maintain our only shot in that game was creating space for Christian, having him take on people. That was the only way we were ever getting back in that game. He is the most talented men's player we have ever had. But I've been biting my tongue for years on his attitude. I've been biting my tongue for years on his fragility. I've been biting my tongue for years on his mindset. And for that to be the quote after that performance, a performance that burnt up so much goodwill for U.S. soccer, something that we were talking about, we are going to feel this impact for generations to come. For him to be the one to say that shows you how weird and corroded his world became with all this babying. We're not babying you anymore, man. You're a fully finished product. You are 27 years old. We're done with you now. We're done with that. You want back into this team, you're going to have to stay healthy. You want back in this team, you're going to have to grow from this. You want all the commercials and adulation? Fine, let that be your legacy, but this is going to be the first thing people think about now, unless you change it.
It's not just the quote, because he's a notoriously terrible quote. It's that he asked out of the game, that he subbed himself out. Like, I don't know that there are a set of circumstances that I can put in front of everyone in the hypothetical that would have made people louder in their anger at a single player than the things that happened in his career and in that game and in the quote after the game. It's just an avalanche of stuff where you're like, how do you give us the appearance that you don't care?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But team-wise, living up to expectations is not success to me. The round of 16 is the United States team's purgatory. It's where they always are. It's where they've gotten and then failed.
But it's who they are, though. That's not an accident.
I know, but sooner or later you have to outgrow that. Sooner or later you have to move forward. It's been 32 years since the U.S. previously hosted a World Cup.
They're toddlers here. Like, the world has. These are countries that have played for 100 years, more than 100 years. Like, we are still new to this. I know America is impatient, okay? I get that 30 and 40 years sounds like a long time, but when you're talking about feeder systems, imagine if right now I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go right now to China, and I'm going to put in the baseball Dominican feeder system on baseball. Let's see if in baseball China can be as good what it's taken Japan. Ohtani's the best player in baseball because of how long they've been playing baseball in Japan. But I remember at the beginning, which was about 40 or 45 years ago, we'd go to exhibitions in Japan, and the Japanese teams would get crushed by the American players every time. And
Dan, sometimes you just don't have the juice. China commits tons of resources. According to Pablo Torre, finds out they're stealing Yannick Sinner's brainwaves to create the perfect athlete, and they never make the World Cup.
This doesn't mean anything to you guys in terms of the fact that MLS, is it even 30 years old yet? Is MLS 30 years old?
It's about 30.
Yeah, just about 30.
Yeah.
So we have in terms of world leagues, where does MLS rank in just soccer? In soccer, is it would be low top 10? Low top. It's not in the top 5, right?
Where would it be on the pyramid?
It's all subjective. There's a big Saudi league is better thing, but they're OLI, no doubt. They're not among the global elite. Until next season, they have this wonky calendar. It's still in its infancy, no doubt. But I do think the federation needs to systematically change how they approach things. Look, we're good on the women's side, not just because we have these incredible God-given athletes, these incredibly talented women. Where in that for that gender, that's the sport. That's a sport if you want to make money. That or women's basketball. There is an American football to compete with. But why were we so successful? Yeah, we have these incredible athletes, but we also have programs like Title IX that legislate this, that force the development. And I think that's where you have to be with the men's side too. You need to replicate what the rest of the world is doing.
I couldn't agree more. Inter Miami has a very great youth academy that has seen young players grow up and make the big team. And all of a sudden they're playing with Leo Messi. And there's no reason the United States cannot do that and grow their own players. The North American Soccer League was around in the late 60s. My argument is that soccer is not a new sport to this country. At some point, we have to stop making excuses.
Greg, I'm not saying it's a new sport. I'm saying when it comes to cultural cachet, young people, what do they want to be in this country? They want to be football players. They want to be basketball players. They want to be baseball players. It's not even hockey, even though we're pretty damn good at hockey.
Best in the world right now.
Americans have gotten pretty damn good at hockey.
in the world.
But in terms of cultural cachet, I don't know where you put it. Soccer's low on the list, and you have to have cultural cachet. Like, it's got to be important to a kid to be popular the way rock stars want to be popular. They don't want to get into business because of the music. They want to get the women. They want to.
Yeah, I saw that tweet. Like, well, growing up in this country, the soccer players don't get the girls. I don't know if you know about the reputation of soccer players abroad, but once you get to a certain level, trust me, you get the girls. And you have to keep in mind, soccer has as big a leg up, no pun intended, on the competition as anybody. It's the number one youth sport. Why does participation in this youth sport die down? It craters at a certain age. Yeah, it could be because there are other sports, but Lord knows we have enough people in this country that they can share the wealth.
It's the combination,
no,
Mike,
Dan,
of cultural
it's
cachet
the money.
and money.
It's
both.
the money. People cannot afford in this country to play the world's most accessible game. They come out and find you in other places. They come out and pay you. If you are worth your salt, they come out and find you and they fund your education. It is something. It is a way, much like in parts of this country where you groom a kid in Pop Warner football, you're going to get to the league one day. That is not the way that we view soccer. That's a cultural difference, but also, since it is, we need to incentivize it. The rest of the world does.
I've seen a couple of faces being made during these segments that I want to check in on. Chris, what were you and Zaz laughing about while we
It's
were...
not a laughing matter, Dan.
Well, what were you laughing? It was a laughing matter, but what was the matter? What was happening? Do you know?
You know, when you're in the middle of doing a show, you know, do you need bodily noises? You know, intervening? I'd say no.
His breathing's on one today.
Was it the breathing?
I mean, I've heard some breathing. I've heard some noises. There's speculation here that it could be Dan or Greg with the noises from the throat.
I'm not saying I let that shit play on. Whenever that stuff
there's
comes out of Dan.
There's definitely heavy breathing going on from you. I had to turn your mic down.
Yeah,
like in the middle of a
heavy.
take, it's what?
When you slow it down like that, it's for emphasis.
You are the champion. Everyone who comes at you with this,
there's nothing I can
you're
do.
undefeated. Everyone
I'm like
loses.
Zaz's kid. I'm trying to get him, and he's like, he pins me down.
So while Mike was telling his story about meeting show fans and meeting Adam 22's producer at the Atlanta airport, Tony, I saw a flash of something on your face that I wanted to go back to. What were you thinking of while Mike was talking about that?
Slight embarrassment on my part. I love July 4th, Dan. I'm a big July 4th guy. It's my favorite holiday that we have on the calendar. And me and my family, we go down to the Keys. We stay at a nice little resort that has a pool and has a couple barbecues and a jacuzzi at the marina. We go out to the
Cubans
boat.
love doing that.
Dude, I'm telling you, I love July 4th. There's nothing like
Those
it.
are family.
There's nothing like it, right?
Cuban Keys family stuff is
so good. So good. Hit Rodriguez Key for a little bit. You park the boat out into the sand. It's great. So July 4th happens. We do the parade. They have a beautiful, nice little parade in Key Largo. So we're there at the parade. We get back. We're like, all right, we're going to hit the pool. We're going to do burgers and dogs. I'm the guy that hits the grill. So bring all the stuff down from the condo. I've got, the Costco, cardboard box that they give you to carry all your stuff. So I've got burgers, frozen. I've got dogs. I've got this. I've got that. You throw the frozen burgers right on the grill. It's got a Blackstone. Everything's fired up. Everything's greased up, ready to go. Guys using it before me, obviously community situation. He's roasting some corn. Looks pretty good. I'm looking over. I'm like, all right, this guy knows what he's doing. He's handled Blackstone before. Turns around. He looks at me. Goes, Tony, big fan of the show, man. I'm like, dude, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Appreciate the support. In the meantime, I've got the spatula from upstairs. I've got the burgers that I got to separate because they're frozen. As I'm separating the burgers, he's kind of finished. He's like, hey, do you need a little bit more oil on the grill? I'm like, yeah, throw me a little bit of oil. So I'm separating them. Boom, my brother-in-law's helping me put them on the grill. All of a sudden, I look over. There's one that's a little bit harder to get with the spatula.
You got to be careful separating the burgers.
As I separate the burger with the spatula, it slips, and the end of the spatula goes right into the center of my hand. This is obviously, because I had awasala.
The smallest cut I've ever seen.
Wait, that's not a cut. It's swelling. Like you're looking at the cut, but how about the
You'd have to drag me away from that grill.
And that's what they had to do. They had to drag me away from the grill. But it was much deeper. Awasala, Dan, you know how it is. Sana todo. You have a cut, you have a scrape, you have some sort of sickness. You put your body in the ocean, and it heals it. I don't know what happens. Zaz, did you know that?
That's true.
You didn't know that, Zaz?
No,
It's assault. Yeah.
Greg, you knew that, right?
Oh,
So you
yeah,
embarrassed
big time.
yourself in front of a listener.
So I don't know if he saw me stab my own hand with a spatula or not. So I'm not gonna reveal his real name. I'm gonna call him Ray. Ray, the one guy you saw me. If you did see me, please write to the Le Batard Show. Hey, I saw him stab his hand or not. But Dan, it hurt. My hand was bleeding. I had to wrap it up, finish the hot dogs, finish the burgers. I had to go upstairs. In the meantime, my brother-in-law overcooked the burgers a little bit. I'm not going to say that too loud.
You just said it. You just said it.
I mean, it's frozen
Now
burgers.
you get to go home and
I
rest.
expect more than that from you, Tony.
You get that
no.
blood on the burger?
Frozen
No,
burgers.
I didn't get the blood. But that one I had to throw away because it fell in the sand after I stabbed my hand.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Have you ever heard of someone cutting themselves with a spatula?
It's the edge of it.
Also, I've just never heard of that happening. Also, put on the poll, do you have to be careful separating the frozen burgers? Yes or no? And while we're at it and just cleaning some things up around here, Chris, Cody, have you heard from Scott McCullough, the family friend?
The Marlins manager?
No, that's the mistake Greg made yesterday where he was talking about Clayton McCullough pulling Uri Perez out of a game, perfect game with 7 innings, and he mentioned Scott McCullough. We tried to reach Scott McCullough, a family friend for many years. Chris Cody had not tried to reach him in 15 years and suddenly called him yesterday. Did you hear back? Are you going to...
I got a text back yesterday saying, hey, I didn't know what I was receiving today. Oh, good to hear from you. I was really busy, and I was like, hey, we'd love to hear from you. And he's like, I got my 10 o'clock hour should be free tomorrow, so I'll try to call in. Wow. So I'm hopeful that we will hear from Scott McCullough on the Marlins
family
perfect
friend.
game situation.
Can we also ask him about Heriberto Hernandez?
That was a big home run last night.
Oh, my God, that guy. You know he has the 4th best OPS of right-handed hitters in the last 2 months?
I
It's
don't.
like Junior Caminero, and he's like 30 points behind him. It's unbelievable.
I don't know that.
Well, now you do.
Did you guys know that Wimbledon's going on? I just learned that today.
I heard that. How about that Coco Golf, huh?
I got one for you, Mike. Do you know that the big dumper now stinks?
Yeah, I'm in a Mariners group chat. I haven't been able to watch a game all summer because, the World Cup, but he's bad now.
Yeah, he's been awful. Just dreadful.
This is our first non-World Cup day since June 11th.
And you know what that means, Chris?
I am like, so much has changed in
You
the
know what
world.
that means? Guess who has the news cycle all to themselves today if they want it? Oh, boy. It's happening today.
You think LeBron's going to be today?
It's got to be today.
16-year anniversary of the
It's
decision.
got to be today.
I feel like I've just been in a FIFA coma, and I don't know anything that's happened since June 11th.
Marlins have been the best team in baseball.
Pablo met Oprah?
Is that going to happen today? Zaslow, are you willing to predict or guess or hypothesize whether LeBron will make his decision today?
I mean, it is 16 years to the day, so that would be funny if he then went and once again announced he's going to take his talents to South Beach. That would be really funny, but I think he's effing with everyone. I think we're still weeks away.
Really, weeks away. Well, he's in Akron, though, right? Like he's spending time right now. I know it's his hometown, but wouldn't that indicate that that's probably what's going to happen there?
There was a Shams report that many on the internet have cited saying, wow, Shams is now reporting on play dates. He and Draymond Green are planning to, quote, hang out.
The Knicks won a championship?
Do you like breathing hot neck on the neck of hot?
Wow.
Are you turned on?
Do you like
Dangling.
breathing hot neck?
What's going on here?
Do you like
Sexy.
breathing hot neck?
You have been dry humped many, many times.
Intimate.
You have been dry humped many, many times.
Little pelvic thrust situation.
I like that.
Have you ever consoled a naked man before?
What does it feel like to get dry humped?
I saw pee-pee.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Breathing hot neck.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Many, many times.
I saw pee-pee.
People out there, stop sending me pictures of the hotel rooms with the chair, okay? Stop sending those to me.
I like that. I like that.
He was naked,
Intimate.
dangling.
I would hold that thing really tight.
How would you do it?
What's going on here?
Do you like
Sexy.
breathing hot neck? Do you like breathing hot neck?
I've been dry humps.
You never know.
I've been dry humps.
Many, many times.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Have you ever consoled a naked
I've
man?
never consoled a naked man.
Many, many times.
You never know. I like that.
You know what I'm talking about?
Chris Cody and Roy revealed this to me. And Roy, I don't know the context of what it is that you guys were talking about that revealed this about Chris Cody.
Yeah, Chris asked me what the sound from the first down for the Dolphins games were. And I said
It's just a noise I've made throughout my entire life. It's just like one, like I just did it. Hoo-wah!
Yeah.
And to me, that's another Miami Dolphins first down.
Well, let's find out.
Hoo-wah!
Let's find out if your dad knows, because he's not a real moviegoer. Instead of impersonating the sound, do you have the actual sound? Greg Cody, do you know who's making this sound?
I do.
Clark Gable.
Come on.
It's the famous actor.
Rock Hudson.
Oh, this is great. He doesn't know it.
It's the No, it's the famous actor. And I got to pin his name down because I don't think
You should be able to say this immediately.
I don't think it's Robert De Niro, but I think it's
in the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood. Give me a second. Robert De Niro.
Humphrey
Al Pacino.
Hey, there you go.
If someone said that in his headphones, you're fired.
Now,
No,
what movie?
nobody said
What
that.
movie?
It's APEC. What movie?
Streetcar Named Desire.
You ain't you. No, you're not man enough to know the truth. Something like
No.
That's A Few
That's
Good
the one I
Men,
bought.
and that's A Few Good
brutal.
Men.
Good answer. Good answer.
And it's not, you're not man enough to know the truth. I
you can't handle the truth.
Don't know.
That's it's a different movie.
Seriously?
Pacino was not in
You're
it.
not man enough to know the truth.
That was originally a line. Nicholson ad-libs. They
Put
kept
it on the poll
that
at
was
Le
Nicholson.
Batard Show. Was Pacino in A Few Good Men? Was a blind Pacino?
Okay, who did he say? Who
Dad
said
on a
hoo-ah
hot
in
tin
what
roof.
movie?
Let's keep going. Let's see how long it takes you to get.
Play it again.
I think did he win an Oscar? I think
Yes.
he won an Oscar
Yes, he
for
won
this.
Best Actor.
Yes.
Bull Durham.
No.
Good answer. Good answer.
Put it on the
Raging
poll.
Bull. Raging
Put it on
Bull.
the poll.
Raging
No.
It's a bull movie.
Just naming De Niro movies.
Red Bull. I don't know.
Put it on the poll. Was a blind Pacino in Bull Durham?
Chicago Bull.
Greg Cody told us yesterday that his podcast and his Cody Cup Invitational has received interaction from all 50 states and all 21 nations. So, someone in Minneapolis, tell me whether Tom Powers is alive or dead. Okay? It shouldn't be this hard to find out whether a Minneapolis Star-Tribune columnist is alive or dead. We're searching the internet. We're scouring public records. Nobody has an answer to my question.
I do wonder, the harder it is to find this information out, does that lend more toward the idea that he would be alive or that he's dead?
I think it's neither, because both would be well known. Like, I Googled, is former Minneapolis sports writer Tom Powers dead or alive? I literally
That's what you
Googled
wrote?
that this morning. Yes. And it was inconclusive.
I think that would mean that I think that's a better chance than him being alive.
He's disappeared in the last 10 years because there were references from like 2016.
2018, there was an article saying that his Twitter has been deactivated.
Yes.
Yeah, when he compared Hillary Clinton to John Wayne Gacy.
But there's no sign of him since 2018, but there's no obituary.
It's a bona fide mystery, is what it is.
Well, let's get to the bottom of it, and also get Scott McCullough on the phone so I can finally get an answer for the first time in 24 hours to my question.
Maybe Scott McCullough has an in on Tom Powers.
Ask him that as well.
Yeah, we should.
Ask him that.
Greg Cody had a shocking take during the break, and I have not heard it before, and I will ask the question on the poll. Is that a $5 fine for Chris Cody? I said, is that a $5 fine for Chris Cody?
Sure.
Sure.
Greg Cody has claimed during the break that cold bacon is better than hot bacon.
Isn't that the truth? Wow. I mean it. It's and this is a fairly recent discovery. You know, I'm a lifelong bacon eater. I was eating it in the crib, baby. But just recently, hours passed, and the bacon out here was cold. It was room temp. It was just not the least bit warm, let alone hot. I had a bite. It happened to be a great piece of bacon, by the way. But I had a bite, and I luxuriated in the non-heat. It was cold. So I put another piece in the refrigerator so that it wasn't just room temp and not hot. It was literally cold bacon. And, brother, you haven't tasted bacon. Somehow, when it's cold, you taste more of the bacon flavor, if that's possible. It's unbelievable.
What would you do if you saw a baby in a crib just chewing on a piece of bacon?
Yeah.
I would say, hey, baby, do you do anything other than cry and shit? I don't love babies, baby.
I mean, bacon does lend itself to the latter.
There are so many good foods out there that, you know, you can eat cold, and I've never even considered bacon.
Oh, really? I hadn't either, but, you know, it ranks up there now.
I could, too.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show because I'd like to get a list of cold foods that are better than hot foods because I think this is a controversial take.
Yeah.
Is cold bacon better than hot bacon? I don't believe that a lot of people think that. I was fairly shocked to hear you say that. Do you have other foods that you believe are better? Normally warm foods that you believe to be better cold?
I just happen to have a top 5 list if you're
Really?
interested.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a top 5 hot foods that are as good or better eaten cold.
Okay, let's find out what you've got here. Do you have any OLI?
I have one OLI, and it's where a lot of people go to. But this is probably the most overrated of all the foods you think of when you think of hot food, better cold. And that's pizza. Acceptable cold, but much, much, much preferred hot.
Well, but then why is that anywhere on your list?
Well, because it's an OLI, which is...
But that means that's not...
It's his list.
Yeah.
But you got to honor the rules of a list.
Thank you, Billy.
When you're OLI, it's disrespect. If you can't make the top 5, you're being disrespected.
Are the other 5 foods that you're alleging are simply better cold,
Yes.
even though most people might prefer it or are used to eating it hot?
Correct. Number 5, chicken in any form. Fried chicken, rotisserie chicken.
Terrible.
Any chicken is better cold.
Not in any way true. Number
Terrible.
4.
Number 4, lobster roll. You know, some people eat a warm lobster roll. In Connecticut, they eat warm lobster rolls. You got to eat a lobster roll chilled. Number 3, veggies like corn and beans in a salad. Corn salad. 3 bean salad. Better cold.
We're rolling now, huh?
We are rolling now. Huh?
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Are beans better cold than warm?
Yes, thank you. Number 2, meatloaf sandwich.
Terrible.
Meatloaf is okay, fine, warm, hot. Better in a sandwich the next day, a cold roast beef sandwich with a little bit of barbecue sauce. Baby, it's great. It's great.
I don't think I've even heard of a meatloaf sandwich.
Yeah,
Gross.
Try it.
There's no meatloaf. I mean,
But wait a minute. Put it on.
No, it's great.
At Le
Trust
Batard
me.
Show, have you had a meatloaf sandwich? Have any of you had a meatloaf sandwich? I've never heard of a meatloaf sandwich.
Well, I grew up poor.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. If you grew up poor, did you have meatloaf sandwiches?
Yeah, it's better than Spam. I'll tell you that.
Number one.
Number one, sort of, anticlimactic now, but it's bacon. Bacon would have been an OLI with me a month ago. Now it's rocketed up to number one.
I'm sorry. I just laughed because I saw it come up on the screen, Scott McCullough from his office. I don't know what Scott McCullough.
we're not ready
looks
with
like.
him yet. We're
That's
working
okay.
on audio issues.
That's fine.
This is the get.
How do you know it's him?
I'm just.
Hi, Scott. How you doing?
Wait.
Would you rather speak to him or Messi today?
He's not. This is the get right here. We've been trying to get him since yesterday to find out how he felt about his namesake Clayton McCullough taking Uri Perez out of a game after 7 perfect innings. So we will get to him in just a second. But going back to the LeBron conversation, can you guys get me the sound of Bob Myers and him basically going on the Rich Paul podcast? And I really do love that this podcast so randomly exists. And I love that Rich Paul cares so much about making it a showcase for just pay attention to what an agent's doing, because I'm going to get a credible sports personality and I'm going to get guests that you might want to hear from. And I'm going to create a podcast where I am Adele's fiance and LeBron's business manager. And I'm going to make a content machine around the LeBron economy. What did you guys make of this sound from Bob Myers basically begging LeBron to come to the 76ers?
If he was here, I'd say I honestly believe this is your best chance to win. You have to decide all the other things that are equally important, because it's his life, right? He has to play. He has to face the scrutiny of his decision. Half the people will say you should have done this or should have done that, and they'll criticize him for whatever, which is his life. So he's been through all that. What I would just say is, if it's about winning, and that, let's talk about this team, because you can win here in Philadelphia.
I'm surprised that the president of Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment honestly believes that the Sixers are his best chance to win.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's being honest that the team, the organization he is president of, he believes that they're the best chance.
Yeah, Scott McCullough doesn't have time for this nonsense.
I'm surprised people are still using moose. What's with that Zoolander hair?
What are your thoughts here, Greg, on everything happening on that podcast?
I think he needs to go to the Heat. I'm as impartial as that guy. I think he needs to go to the Heat. It's the best opportunity.
That's not thoughts on what was said on that podcast. That's just your thoughts.
I think that's a guy with an axe to grind. He's got a vested interest in selling Philadelphia. Why would anybody pay attention to that?
I don't think that's what axe to grind is.
No, but it's the opposite of an axe to grind.
So why did you use axe to grind?
I just felt like it.
You're good at words.
Yeah, I used to be, until I used axe to grind inappropriately.
I feel like I caught you off guard there. You didn't have anything, and you were just staring at Scott McCullough,
really
and you were
wasn't listening.
distracted. Okay,
Right.
Scott McCullough looks exactly as I imagined he did. Thank you for joining us, Scott McCullough. Your thoughts on Uri Perez being taken out of a perfect game after throwing 7 innings and just like 92 pitches?
Right. Well, this is coming from the perspective of a personal injury attorney who's, less than a casual fan of baseball, which is odd why I'm on Greg Cody's mind yesterday for this segment. I would have pulled him.
Wow.
The McCulloughs are alive.
Wait a minute. Why would you have pulled him? What do you mean? Why would you have pulled him? What are you doing?
Shocking. Yeah.
Well, I think at the end of the day, they ask who won and who lost the game, so what would have happened if Mr. McCullough would have left him in there, and they lose? Then what happened?
Well, they were winning 8-0 though. They could have taken him out at any point.
Good cushion.
They took him out.
I could have come in relief and held that lead.
Well, they almost didn't, is what I understand.
Yeah, that's true. Almost doesn't count. I'd have held an 8-run lead. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, you telling me right now doesn't mean anything.
I know,
You wouldn't have held an. All right, thank you.
Anybody can.
Scott, can you tell me a story, please, of how drunk Greg gets at Erlene's parties, please? The one I have is he wore a lampshade one time on his head and embarrassed her. Do you have a better story than that?
Might have been there for that one. No, I'm not going to do that.
Thank
my
you.
friend Greg.
Thank you.
The last time I saw him was in the fall of 2022.
Yeah, it's been
Again,
a minute.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why I came up or why you're thinking of me, Greg.
Right.
Well, it's because the manager of the Marlins is named Clayton McCullough.
Yeah, that's all we need.
That's the reason.
Scott, how nice was it to hear from Chris yesterday?
Really good. In the middle of depositions for my personal injury clients, right? That's what I do on a daily basis. My phone is blowing up. Now, if I get 2 calls in a row, you know it's from the wife.
Yeah.
But this time it was an unknown number, and after the deposition was really funny. So really funny to hear from you guys.
Scott, thank you. The big get of the day. I would have chosen him if I had my choice between him and Lionel Messi. I would have chosen Get Me Scott McCullough. So thank you for being on the show. We appreciate your analysis. Truly shocking analysis that the McCulloughs are aligned on something that I think that most people listening to this, almost everyone listening to this, would say you cannot pull out Perez in that situation.
I mean, maybe he didn't want to be called brain dead, so he agrees with the manager, you know? I would say that that's a reason that would happen. You don't want to get that heat, right? Don't look at me like that, Jeremy. Don't look at me like that,
I'm just leaning
man.
around the camera to make sure I can see you.
All right.
That's all. Little eye contact. I'm a professional.
Scott doesn't want to leave. He's going to hang around there. Just put him in picture-in-picture. He can mill about if he doesn't want to leave. That's fine. We'll have his company here. Going back to what we were talking about regarding the 76ers, I want to cover a little bit more of this Jaylen Brown thing from this perspective, because I'm having a hard time finding a comp in my career in journalism for someone who is really smart, universally considered smart, book smart, all the kinds of smart, right? Not just smart for an athlete. Jaylen Brown is considered somebody who is worldly and smart, and I have not seen that as a negative very often. But Richard Sherman got some of this, and the thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is the idea that somebody Jaylen Brown's age is basically looking at things that are critical on television. And if you grow up in the internet age the way Jaylen Brown has, it's existed for 15 years. So Jaylen Brown was basically 14 years old when the idea of social media made an appearance. I don't think he's making much of any delineation or distinction between the people talking about him on television and the people talking about him on the internet. They're all the same kind of credentialed critics. But when you think of the gulf between how it is that athletes feel about their critics, I think when Richard Sherman went on First Take, and he went on First Take with Skip Bayless, I think a lot of athletes who are smart look at their critics and feel the way Richard Sherman does here.
I think I've accomplished more in my field than you have in yours, though you're just getting started.
So I'm the top of my field. So I'm all pro. I'm the best, one of the best 22 players in the NFL. You're going to brush it off, but I don't think you're the best 22 anything in sports and in media and anything. I think you think more of yourself than you actually can, prove. But
okay. Do you think you're better than Darrelle Revis is right now?
In my 24 years of life, I'm better at life than you.
Okay.
So
all right, that's fair.
Let's get down to that.
Let's not get personal here. I just want to know.
It's not
do
personal.
You think you're better than Darrelle Revis is right now?
I'm better than you.
Wow.
I believe that the great affliction that an athlete can have is I'm better than you. Even if they think that, once they say it out loud, it creates a gulf between everyone and them. But would you not say that empirically, Jaylen Brown is probably better at life than most of the people criticizing him?
Sure. Yeah, sure. That's a Stanford Cal thing. Jeez.
What does better at life mean, though?
Right. Like, who gets to quantify what makes you good at life?
Better at success. Like Richard Sherman has had an assortment of incidents off the field that can make you criticize whatever it is that is going on in his life.
Skip.
But better than you, I in terms of this one's always interesting to me, guys. Always interesting. You actually want your athletes to have ego. They better have ego, but it becomes uncomfortable when their ego is so large that they give off, I'm better than you. Even though Jaylen Brown's primary crime, as far as I can see it, is that he's afflicted with some of that. Is there another crime that you guys can speak to as it relates to where it is that Jaylen Brown is taking a beating right now than the fact that he gives off, I know I'm better than you?
Yeah, I would just take a step back at the better than you. He's better than me at basketball for sure. I think I'd be better at him than this. All the other stuff in life, I think it just depends on, like, it's subjective. It depends on what you value. Like, are we talking about happiness? I think I'm pretty happy. I think if you're really happy in life, that's probably meaning you're pretty good at it.
I'm better than you.
Did you just say that as a broadcaster, you're better at him than this? Is that what you just said?
I'm better than him. I said at?
Better at him than this.
Yeah, it was a pretty funny place.
I'm better than him.
Yeah. Weird place to make a misplay on
Yo,
words.
you just said axe to grind when it didn't even mean what you said. Take
Yeah.
it easy.
Okay, that's a fair comment by you.
Look at
Asshole
you.
for saying it, but still.
Got her ass. I'm better than you.
Doesn't make it right.
Greg Cody just did the move that Skip Bayless did, which is that's fair, is what he filled the silence with after Richard Sherman said, I'm better at life than you. You can't agree with that if you're Skip Bayless.
But are you better than Revis? I'm better than you.
I don't think outside of actual crimes that there is a greater crime than the crime of ego of an athlete not giving you false humility. You've heard me say before that fans in general prefer false humility to ego, even if it's the God's honest truth. They want you to fake it. Even if you think you're better than me, please don't act like it.
Yeah, ego is a big spectrum. You know, we love confidence. We don't love cocky that much. You know, you got to walk that line. If you're super cocky and you convey that, then you're the diva. You know, then you're the one who better live up to that because look how cocky that guy is. So I think it's weird. You know,
but
you're allowed to be really confident, but don't be cocky.
Well, you're saying this, but you tell me, okay, because ego is a spectrum, and Steph Curry does a great job of appearing humble. But do you think he's cocky? Because he better be. Like,
yeah.
Like, what do you?
Oh, yeah.
So what are we doing? Like, so what are we doing? He's. When it comes to confidence, very few people are going to have more confidence at anything that Steph Curry has at what he does, but his persona doesn't give off cocky. But when he's playing, he is very much cocky.
Not only that, I think on Netflix or Disney Plus, he literally created a muñequito that it's called Goat, and it's him. Like he is the main character, and it's called Goat.
So what are we doing there, Greg? Because what is it about ego that makes it that we are so uncomfortable with an athlete having it, even though he better or she better have it in order to conquer all the other people who have ego?
Yeah, we love ego when it's on our team. We love cocky when it's on our team. When it's on the opponent, that's when we don't like it.
Or when it's lighter skinned.
Yep.
What?
Who said that?
What?
That's good.
Wow, that's not bad.
That's part of what's happening here. Part of what's happening. An offense that's just as bad as we're seeing play out with Christian Pulisic, don't appear to be quitting.
Don't do that.
Don't quit. Don't pull yourself out of the game. Don't pull yourself out of the game. Don't be LaDainian Tomlinson sitting on the sideline with an overcoat. Don't be Christian Pulisic asking out of a game saying now you have time to rest. That's a pretty big offense.
This just made me realize exactly why LeBron was so hated, because everyone felt like he quit on the Cavs at the end of that last season in that playoff series, and then he went and made an entire TV spectacle about him.
You're just realizing this?
Yes, I was 14, Dan.
It's the whole reason he became unpopular.
Yeah, well, I loved him. He came here, which he should do again. Miami Heat, best fit.
I want to make a clarification here because the internet is breathing hot and nasty on my neck, and I'm going to double down on what it is that the internet says is a mistake that I have been making. for me, going forward in this World Cup and forevermore, his name is Erling Haaland. I do not care what you think. I do not care what you say. He has 3 A's in his name. I will not pronounce Holland when it has 3 A's in it.
Doesn't make it right.
It does make it right. I'm going to continue calling him Erling Haaland. And furthermore, while I'm at it, before this tournament started, I kept hearing it different ways in different places. So I asked around people who know more than me, how does he pronounce it? And they said either way is fine. And now everyone is correcting me every time I say Haaland, and I don't care. And I'm not going to stop calling him Haaland. I'm going to say it again. If you have 3 A's in your name, I'm not pronouncing it Holland.
What a weird thing to get indignant about.
Holland.
I agree with Dan.
I think Tony's saying it right.
I've heard it pronounced both ways on broadcast. Now, I know that that's not the standard, but in Europe, you run into more like either way is fine.
There's an asterisk. Exactly. But here's the thing. You remember when the Netherlands used to be called Holland? Okay? H-O. That's pronounced Holland. Erling's name is pronounced Holland with an A sound. Holland, not Holland.
Hank Haren.
Holland.
Hank Aaron.
Hey, Alond?
Doesn't make it right.
It does make it right.
What do you guys make of Messi being 4 of 8 on penalty kicks? And I know what you were saying about, yes, it's time to think. You're having time to think as opposed to muscle memory and reflex and all the things that he does that are not involving thought. But it's not just that he got stoned on yesterday's. It was made to look easy. Like it was so easily done that if anyone was watching soccer for the first time there and you said, hey, this guy here, he's the best soccer player who's ever played, and watch this, and all of a sudden the penalty kick is stopped so easily, then you're like, how is he bad at this?
You can always tell when Messi's on the pitch because you just look for the smallest, thinnest guy.
Too thin.
One thing that I would like to see done is a data-backed look-see at how many people are opting against putting the ball higher up in net. I think the humiliation that comes with what happened to Taha in Germany, what comes with just sailing the ball into the stands in that moment, it's memeable. It gives you great shame, and people just don't want to go out that way. They just approach it with, I'd rather go out with a 50-50 shot. The keeper just doesn't guess the right way.
We saw it twice yesterday
because
with Switzerland and Colombia.
It's just more embarrassing to sail it into the sands
Give
than
yourself
what's
a chance.
happened to Messi. But it's also one of the rare times that his play can be more predictable. In the run of play, you don't know where he's going to go. You don't know what he's going to do. He's so brilliant with the ball. Whereas if you're a goalkeeper and he's standing at the penalty spot, you're like, okay, at least I can rule out like 50% of this frame.
Yeah, it's this side or this side. When Messi's playing during the regular play of the game, anything can happen.
It's a little bit more complicated than that because you can go high or go down the middle, but the numbers are more skewed to your advantage, if that makes any sense, in a penalty kick scenario than if he's just dribbling the ball in the box.
Well, one of the things that I find interesting about this entire penalty kick situation, and it's unlike anything else in sports for me, okay? Unlike anything else, where I like it, even though I'm looking at it and I'm like, that's not a good metric or even soccer anymore for deciding who gets to advance once every 4 years based on how it is that we're doing this ridiculousness, the just sheer absurdity of how we're doing this. But I love it. And what I had happen to me yesterday, this is funny. You guys will appreciate this. So I'm watching this, and the setup is just perfect. The announcers are great, setting up just the pressure and the size of this between Colombia and Switzerland. And they're setting up, my God, Quintero, such a long run-up he's got to this kick. So much pressure here, and Quintero's picking his nose when this is happening. So much pressure here for Quintero. And Valerie walks into the room, okay, on the third penalty kick, She hates everybody in soccer because these people have been singing outside our door for 6 straight weeks, nonstop, drunk at 3 o'clock in the morning. And furthermore, she's told me she doesn't like soccer players. They're too dramatic. She's not wrong about that.
Yeah.
That was a bad game for the drama.
Yeah.
She doesn't like it. But this is what happened to me yesterday, okay? I had my chance. I haven't had this chance in this World Cup in a knockout scenario game where I've got penalty kicks and I only need her attention here for 2 minutes. I'm like, Valerie, here are the stakes here on.
This is it. This is the entire game right here.
Well, not the only place.
It's Colombia and it's Switzerland, and the stakes are so high that every 4 years, I'm explaining it very briefly, and what I see is her backing into the bushes like Homer Simpson with her knees high up in the room. She doesn't want any part of it. I'm like, there it is, my failure. I'm never going to get her to be able to be interested in any of this, because if I can't do it here with something that's not soccer, that we're surrounded by Colombians who could not possibly care more in South Florida about what just happened yesterday. Couldn't possibly care more. It's the thing in Colombian sports forever, and now they lose and don't advance because of penalty kicks. But if I cannot get you interested in something that requires that short of an attention span and has that high a stakes, then I will never be able to get you interested in anything sports related.
I'll tell you, I was bummed watching that yesterday. Dan, we lost another great group of fans with Colombia going down.
Some of the best.
This has been a hard week. Matter of fact, can I have a moment where, like, I want to pour one out for some of the fans we've lost over the last week plus?
Sure, yes. A lot. Well,
Yeah.
yes, England, Norway's not going to feel quite the same as Brazil, Colombia.
And Norway's
got the row, man. They got the row going.
We're talking about two different things.
There are last hopes as the Norway fans.
Norway's pretty good to still have them around, but I want to pour one out for some of the fans that we've lost over the last week plus. Number one, we'll start with Colombia. Oh, they have incredible fans that we're not going to see again because they lost in penalties yesterday. Give it up for Colombian fans. All right, I saw you. Also, I want to give it up for Mexico's fans. Mexico's got some great fans, and we're not going to see them again. All right, pour one out for the Mexican fans. How about Brazil fans? They are great fans, too. Very, very upset we're not going to see them again. Also, you know what? It was a little more than a week ago, but I'm going to pour one out for the South Korean fans, all right? Some people, that's their favorite kind of fan. So I'm giving up. We're not going to be able to see South Korean fans anymore. And then finally, the good old US of A. United States, we got some great fans. But we still have Norway. Norway, we're still going to see this weekend, but I just wanted to pour one out for some of the great fans that we will no longer be seeing during this World Cup, Dan.
Thank you for your service.
We have not had a more honest moment on this show, and Jessica's going to join us in a little bit, than Jessica's friend appearing on the screen and you going, "Who's that?" Your undercurrent of lechery from over here somehow impregnated me. I don't know how that happened exactly. You would think it would work against the rules of science.
With a boy, of course.
But you were – that's right, because the Zaslows –
over 100 years, Dan.
Yeah, the Zaslows only produce boys.
You weren't here a couple of weeks ago. I announced we have a new member coming.
I was here. I was standing.
You were?
I was sitting right next to you, yes.
Professional over there.
Yeah, we got a new member coming, and it is a boy.
Yes.
It is a boy.
It is.
Over 100 years, Greg.
It's always.
Wow, that's an old boy.
It's always over 100 years of Zaslows making babies, and they've all been boys. It wasn't 100-year-old boy.
What
Greg.
a coincidence! 100 years of boys.
Let's.
Greg?
That's not bad.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's not bad. All right. You know what? I'm gonna enter you into my class because I do have a class in doing that.
You're gonna what him?
He has qualified.
You're going to enter me into your class.
Class, yes. Oh, CL.
That is dangerous phrasing.
The others, they all learn from me.
Let's check in with our semi-weekly Stone Cold Austin, Steve Austin video.
Hey, what's up? It's Steve. Come to Broke Skull Ranch. I'm out here in the horse barn checking out these cats. Poncho's over there on the little tower. Poncho, baby, what you doing? Rocking that haircut, man. He's lean and mean. He's in shape. This is a good old cat right here. Right, buddy? And then this guy, we got that air conditioner set on for him. Machi. How you doing, buddy? Macho's a hunting son of a bitch. And then, hell, every time I show these cats haircuts, everybody goes, oh, don't cut their fur. It acts as insulation. It makes them cool when it's warm and warm when it's cool. Shut the fuck up. These cats love their haircuts. Right, buddy? All right, we're out.
Solid content,
Yeah,
always.
really good.
Poncho!
Love the background noise.
Speaking, what was that, like an air conditioning hum?
Yeah, he famously pointed it out.
God damn it.
When we're pouring them out, are Zaslow and Mike Ryan going to pour one out, sadly, and in honor of Kyle Lowry? A 20-year career ends, 2 decades of basketball at the professional level, much of it played well, except for the years with the Miami Heat.
Horrible. Horrible.
Worst Miami Heat player of all time. I hope his retirement ceremony is him kicking literal rocks.
Wow. I mean, I couldn't wait for him to not play on my television anymore. Having to watch that guy for the 2.5 years, having to root for him, give me a break.
A 20-year basketball career is impressive by any measure. This is how you're going to honor somebody who was how many times was he an All-Star? Like this is a
6. None here.
We're entitled to not like him because of how he performed.
Worst Heat player ever, though, is a little
most
bit...
unlikable,
Yeah.
as unlikable
Don't like
Heat
him.
player ever.
I guess he was going through something when he was here in Miami, and I understand we all have our issues, but he was supposed to be an important piece. Brought him in here to be friends and a teammate of Jimmy Butler, and kind of, if you know what happened behind the scenes, I know we made an NBA Finals with him on the roster, but him and Jimmy kind of breaking apart from the group, that kind of a destructive force.
Like, does it kind of makes sense now, right? Like, Jimmy Butler yesterday put a tribute to Kyle Lowry on his Instagram, and kind of makes sense that those guys are best buddies. Like, doesn't that tell you everything you need to know about Kyle Lowry?
No.
Do you think Lowry's betting on his own comeback?
No, it's 20 years. He's pretty spent and obviously spent, but rare is a career like this where you can make an argument, and some people would, that he's the best Raptor ever. You might be wrong, but he's pretty close to being among the best Raptors ever.
I think he is.
And you guys are sitting here saying he's the worst Heat player ever. There's not a lot of that on the you're not going to find a whole lot of that on the spectrum.
Well, he sucked here. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
He was a bad
He
player.
sucked,
here.
and he was a brutal watch.
He was terrible.
Like, just a style of play and the complaining, brutal player to watch.
Never seemed particularly fit, physically. All 6 of his All-Star.
That's kind.
All 6 of his All-Star appearances were with Toronto.
You guys aren't honoring a 20-year career at all.
That's what Canada can do.
He's an all-time great Raptor. Is he a Hall of Famer? I don't know.
He
Not
is.
to me.
He's going to make the Hall of Fame.
He is a Hall of
Well,
Famer.
everybody does. Everybody makes the
I think it's fair. He's an all-time great Raptor. He left the Heat with some negative feelings around it, but like we are forgetting, he was the starting point guard on a 1-seed Heat team, and he was a huge piece of that. If they had gone to the finals instead of losing the year before, and then when they made their run to the finals, he was supplanted by Gabe Vincent, which is part of why
Who was a lot better.
Right, he was much better for that team the following season, but like he's not the worst Heat player ever.
Yeah, he is.
It's a stretch.
Yeah, I'm with Zaz. He's the worst player ever.
Incredibly unlikable.
The
I
only
do have
other
a top 5 Kyles in South Florida sports history, and he doesn't make the list.
Of course not.
And I don't want that list.
You don't want that list?
Oh, I would.
Dan, you don't want to hear about Kyle Bearclaw?
Unpopular is a real strong word to use on Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Seeloff?
When I'm trying to punctuate his an honorable career in which he played well, playing 20 years is something that is worth celebrating. Playing 20 years is something that is worth honoring, and you guys have not had a kind syllable to say.
Other people are.
Yeah.
Go somewhere else for the tribute to Kyle Lowry. He was terrible down here.
Kyle Beckerman?
Oh, I like him.
Why
Miami
did you
Fusion.
put together that list? What was the judgment involved with putting together the list?
He just does his
of
own thing
top
over here.
five.
I don't know if
Kyles?
you've noticed, but he's getting the Kyles up either way, even though Dan
Yeah,
dismissed it.
Kyle Anderson?
But it's every bit as bad as I thought it was going to be, and somehow worse. Somehow worse. You know how low my expectations were for top 5 Kyles?
You know about that Kyle Lewis, 4th-round pick this year?
Oh, yeah, he's good. It's a good list. Well done, Jeremy. Did you give the list?
Kyle Stowers.
Oh, yeah, big time. Good year last year. What happened this year?
You're in luck because we have the Love Doctor. The Love Doctor is here. He is ready. He is in his office right now. Dr. Greg Cody getting everybody ready for Mother's Day this weekend. And we have questions. The Love Doctor is going to have the answers. Who's up first?
I know a lot of people are going to come to you and they're going to want to know, how do you keep it interesting? Me, I'm not interested in interesting. So how do you keep it predictable? How do you keep it ho-hum? How do you just let it just be?
Was that Jason Tatum asking that question?
Young lady, you are my kind of gal. That's my lane. That's my lane of romance. I invented predictable. Nobody has perfected the art of dull routine like yours truly. As a matter of fact, little inside information here, my wife and I schedule our naughty time months in advance, like doctor's appointments. Quite often, she'll have to cancel because she said something came up. Unfortunately, sometimes I'll have to cancel because something didn't come up. That kind of thing.
It's good luck for us.
Do we have another question for the Love Doctor here after such great advice?
With Chris listening.
Oh, we're doing it, baby.
What are you guys doing, man?
Oh, you want question number 2?
Yeah, let's go question number 2.
Oh, yeah, Greg. Hey, man, I need your help, man. So I'm out of town for Mother's Day, trying to figure out what can I get my girl for Mother's Day in another city.
Oh, wow. Buddy, I'm worried about this. Not one, but 2 of the Love Doctor's marriages began rending like cheap fabric when Greg was either out of town at a sporting event or away at a doctoral conference. And the exes were doing the clandestine bumpy bump behind my back. Jack, I suggest you get your girl what you'd never expect, a private eye to keep an eye on her randy ass.
You know about that randy ass, Nick?
I don't like this at all.
Thank you, Love Doctor. Don't go anywhere. We may go back to you. Appreciate you.
I don't like this at all.
Somehow, the least embarrassing Cody on today's show.
Wait till Nick finds out that Chris, with Greg sitting nearby, admitted about a half an hour ago that when he's having a hard time becoming aroused, he thinks of his wife's twin sister to get in the mood.
It was a shocking revelation.
That's what happened, Nick.
Shocking.
That happened.
Yeah, he did.
No, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. He did.
It was shocking.
Unnecessary, also.
I don't like. This isn't. Again, I might need a mean here. This isn't K-Fab. K-Fabe?
Kayfabe.
Which is it? I don't know.
Kayfabe,
Thank
wrestling
you.
nerd here at your service.
This isn't.
Zaz could have
Thanks,
helped there.
Mike Ryan. This isn't Kayfabe. I don't like this at all. And I would appreciate if you guys turned the music off. This is not great.
So the Steelers
Are you ready to do your catchphrases? I heard there's some controversy around the. It's the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody. He is counting down his top 50 catchphrases of all time. It has been a successful months-long joke. What is the controversy surrounding your catchphrase list? What is the issue?
It's big. The controversy is that based on quality demand, the catchphrase countdown has suddenly increased from a top 50 to a top 60.
What?
That's
What?
right. And it's controversial.
Of course it is. You told us it was a top 50, and we told you it was something you were making up as you went along, and that you weren't going to get the numbers right. And now you just changed it.
He botched it to such a degree that there are so many good ones left that we're just pushing all the
I knew that was going to happen, though. That's exactly what we were saying.
Your brain beating me.
How did this happen? What was the ruling? What did the committee get together and decide? How did it happen that it got expanded? Now, no one's going to complain about this because more catchphrases is great, but we told you this was going to happen, and we told you this was a sloppy list by you.
The others, they all learn from.
I really do think that the United States soccer team met expectations, but unfortunately it feels like our expectations changed once they advanced, looking the way they did past the initial round. So I ask you, Mike Ryan, United States soccer this season, success or not a success, this World Cup?
Disappointment. Yeah, I don't know if it was successful ultimately because of how bad it ended and how with the politics involved, it just did not feel good. The performance, the lack of heart, gutsiness, all the bad things that people were saying come to life. Worried about Pochettino in big matches, worried about the goalkeeper, worried about Tim Ream, worried about Pulisic's health, worried about the intestinal fortitude and the maturity of this team. All that stuff playing out in such a nasty fashion. And then for a group of people that don't like, politics with their sport, for it to come out and grab it by the throat and inject itself into what was feeling good, it's
crazy. You guys
they burned up so much goodwill.
You guys are saying it got ruined in 48 hours.
It's the only way. It's the only way that I would have said it's a disappointment. It was a disaster. It was a disaster. The only time you can get into that match was for 60 fleeting seconds.
How can anything be considered a success if it ends in embarrassment?
They met expectations, I thought, right up until we changed the expectations.
But that's a success to you, meeting expectations or exceeding them?
I mean, exceeding expectations would be more of a success, but meeting expectations, to me, disappointment is not meeting expectations. That's almost textbook definition of what disappointment is. So I guess we can get caught on the line between it wasn't a success and it wasn't a failure, but you guys are saying the punctuation overshadows everything before it. They were playing the biggest game I've ever seen them play. Yeah, they shit the bed in that game, but it's the most important game I've seen this country play soccer.
They're still stuck in the round of 16, though.
Men's side, I should say.
Men's side.
Yeah, it's not even, in retrospect, given how it ended up, not even the most impactful game against Belgium in the World Cup over the last 20 years, because at least the Tim Howard team fought like hell. Yeah. That Wondolowski had an opportunity at the end. That team showed grit. It was narrative changing. I have not seen one even casual observer of this World Cup say, hey, man, that felt good. No, that's how badly it ended.
Yeah, and I just think it is funny, though, that if I'd ask all of you, hey, going into the game, success so far? The answer is yes.
So far.
I know, and the answer would also be yes. You said if I said they lost 1-0, or they lost in PKs, or they lost in overtime, you got your heart broken. But you're saying the combination of the president of the United States stepping in with them having an assortment of embarrassments that makes it the worst loss in the knockout round. Correct? I'm trying to go through my head here in the library. Was there a loss where a team looked worse in the knockout round than losing 4-1? There was a 3-0 in there, but a 4-1 and that way where you look just amateur in a couple of spots, and your alleged best player is leaving the field early to an assortment of howls from every voice speaking about American soccer.
Yeah, in that round, they looked like they didn't belong. I don't know how that's success if the end result is you didn't belong.
They looked worse than Canada did. Canada at least looked good for a half, and they got to talk themselves into it. Their American manager said, "I'd rather be us." At the end of it, there was just no fight there.
Yeah, I agree from the very beginning, and there were 2 minutes in that game where fans had a chance to feel good. 2 minutes in that game. When they tied it, it just they didn't. It's like they didn't even show up for the biggest game, and they had such an opportunity to finally defeat the round of 16 and get into the quarterfinals. Such an opportunity, and that's when they had a chance to fully arrive. Because in the quarterfinals, if they beat a giant like Spain, then the whole world is saying U.S. soccer is here. They were one win away from having that chance, and they absolutely blew it.
Biggest game in 20 years.
I don't understand the commentary about what a huge mistake it was for, with the politics getting involved, it fired up the Belgium team. They're in the World Cup. We're in the round of 16. The Belgium team that gave them a boost. They needed to be fired up.
They say so.
Yes,
I agree.
But that's just a sports thing to say, bulletin board material.
No, the whole world's out. They're conspiring against us in an unprecedented move. We're going to show their asses who we are. We beat them the last time. We'll beat them again. In sports, you look for whatever edge that you can. And, yes, we might be playing the result. But, look, they showed us not once but twice. Once on the field and in the locker room. They were doing the double jerk-off dance.
Yeah. If I'm the Belgian coach, I am really emphasizing the fact that we're on United States soil, and the United States president just worked back channels to get a red card lifted from their leading goal scorer.
So now they really want to win the World Cup?
No, they always did, but that's extra incentive.
All right, let's bring in Jessica here. She's laughing at the phrasing of the double jerk-off dance. Also put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. In the internet age, are we still doing bulletin board material? Because I think we need to kind of retire that phrase. Are we still doing bulletin boards? Are people still using bulletin boards? Do any of you put this on the poll as well? Do you have a bulletin board? Yes or no. Want to include Jessica on a couple of these conversations we've been having. First of all, cold bacon or hot bacon? Which is better?
Hot.
No. You know what? I'm going to challenge you, Jess. Have you ever had cold bacon, intentionally cold bacon?
I've had bacon once it's like cooled to room temperature.
Yeah, that's not enough.
You want it like cold though?
Yeah, put it in the fridge for 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then try it.
Well, I've probably had it on a BLT or something.
There you go. That's a good example of cold bacon really being serviceable and useful to its community.
I love BLTs.
But if you're at a
Extremely
restaurant,
underrated.
a fresh one at a restaurant, the bacon's still a little warm. You get that like cold of everything else with the
Depends on the
slightly
strawn.
warm bacon.
The straunt, where you're in a big hurry. That's the time you choose to be efficient.
Play on. I like that. I'm going to start calling them straunts.
I don't get it.
Jessica, I've got a number of things that I want to talk to you about, but let's begin with these your marks that this show has a lot of animosity toward, an assortment of your marks who have businessified sports in a way that is unpleasant. Do you have any thoughts on Brett Yormark?
I do, Dan. There was a moment yesterday in Big 12 Media Days that reminded me of what I think is maybe Mike Ryan's favorite viral video relating to an airplane. So let's play the clip and see if Mike Ryan knows what I'm talking about. It's a very awkward clip.
Rocket Brigade Commission. Texas Tech got fined over tortillas
and tortillas were banned outright. OSU paddles broke an always maker rule, has a tradition exemption. Sorsby never played a snap for the Red Raiders. Big 12 sued them anyway, while Cincinnati hasn't been yet touched. You're selling greater than 12. Why should Texas Tech fans believe it?
Can you sit? Let me come closer to you. Stand up. Ask that question again, and I'm going to give you the answer I want to give you, so go ahead.
Texas Tech got fined for tortillas, and tortillas were banned outright. OSU has had paddles that were given a noisemaker exemption back in 2012. Sorsby never played a snap for the Red Raiders, and yet there is a lawsuit. Cincinnati has yet to be touched. You're selling greater than 12. Why should Texas Tech fans believe them?
No, I didn't say greater than 12. You misquoted me. I said we're going forward as 16 strong, and that's my answer to your question. But thank you for that question. Appreciate it.
I want to shake your hand.
Yes!
I want to shake your hand.
Stand up.
That
Ask me that
was-
again. Stand up.
Jess, that was so excruciating
Look at the
to
people
watch.
behind.
There were so many people with their hands, their faces in their hands. He screwed up on tortillas twice after he stood up.
Tortillas? What is he calling them? Tortillas?
That went on forever, Jess.
It was a lot. I know. Before the show, Chris Cody was like, "Hey, this video is a minute and a half long. Should we trim it?" I was like, "No, you got to watch the whole thing. It's so awkward." So this is a Texas Tech media personality asking Brett Yormark, basically like trying to confront him over the lack of punishment for Cincinnati because of the Brendan Sorsby thing, bringing up the very controversial banning of throwing tortillas on the field, equating it to Oklahoma State's paddle people, and Brett Yormark's reaction is, "Stand up, say that again to me, ask me that question again." And then he asks it again, and it's awkward again the second time, and he kind of stumbles through it. And Brett Yormark just kind of was like, you misquoted me, that's not what I said. And then that was the end of it. And then he also, earlier in Big 12 Media Days, was like, now's not the time to talk about Brendan Sorsby. Now's the time to celebrate the season that we're about to have, which is like, I feel like this is the time.
Big 12 Media Day?
Big 12 Media Day.
I would
when
love
else
to
are you gonna
know.
talk about it?
When is the time, Brett? Josh Pate has been very critical of this deal. On the surface, I get it. I don't know why they did this. Was this a bad deal signed by Brett Yormark?
Are you talking about the $20 million Monster Energy branding deal that they did, Mike? Because it does seem like a shockingly small amount of money for what is a league-wide Monster Energy partnership. Dan, I don't know if this is going to make you really sad or not, but this year there's going to be brand patches on college football uniforms. I've seen the Wisconsin Culver's one, which I love Culver's. So in part of me is like, kind of makes my mouth water. But then part of me is like, I don't like this. I don't want to bring patches to college football uniforms. But in the Big 12, what was announced yesterday is that they're doing this league-wide Monster Energy partnership. But it's only a deal worth $20 million and spread across like 16 teams. It just doesn't seem like a lot of money. They're putting it on the fields. They're putting it on the uniforms. And yeah, Mike, it has been criticized to the point where I'm like, maybe there's more details about this that I just don't know yet, because it feels like not a lot of money.
Who's going to call it the Monster Energy Big 12 Football Conference? Is that who's obligated to call it that?
TV.
Apparently, yeah, any Big 12 affiliated, yeah, I don't know if Fox is going to do it, but like, yeah, any Big 12 affiliated partner, I guess, would call it that, or in like official press releases, I guess you would call it that. It doesn't really roll off the tongue, but.
Greg, did you just give that the back of your hand, the worst of the Greg Cody indignities, to wave your hand in the back of your hand at something? Why did you do that?
Because when we're starting to advertise on uniforms, I think we have crossed a line not previously crossed. But I want to tell fans something. You're not obligated to call a stadium after a sponsor. Like just to use a totally random example, you don't have to say Lone Depot Park if you don't want to. You can say Marlins Park. Okay, you're not entitled. You're not obligated to fall like a lemming over a cliff and use these corporate titles.
Zaz, why are you looking at him this way as Jessica brays in his face?
Such a strange stance to take. You don't have to call the stadium or the arena by their names?
No, you don't. You can call it
I'm
Joe.
with Greg.
There you go. Thank you, Jess. Appreciate that.
Sometimes I will go out of my way to not say a brand name if I'm like, this just sounds stupid. I'm not doing that. They're not paying me.
Yes.
I'm not a M asterisk E asterisk partner. I don't have to say the name of their drink.
Yeah. I'm not even taking a loan from Depot.
Okay,
Why am I calling it Loan Depot?
You guys are getting
Great ballpark.
a little bit precious though about the sponsorships. My favorite detail on this is I remember when Penn State was doing, hey, we don't put anybody's name on the back of the jerseys, but it had the Nike swoosh on the jersey while they wouldn't put the names on the jersey. We've been doing this game for a while, sort of hiding, and now it's just coming because they need to pay for everything, and so it's going to become the Monster Energy Big 12 football conference, and you're going to have sponsorships on the patches.
Is there a single fan in the Big 12 who's going to start calling it the Monster Energy Big 12? One person. I want to meet.
I'm only going to call it by that.
I want to meet that person.
I love it. I call them Lenovo match breaks, and I throw up the 4. I like it.
No, but this is the
Powerade
equivalent
hydration
of
breaks.
like the bowl games, okay? When it used to, is it Capital One? You know, the
It's
Capital
a Capital One.
Well, it used to be
Right.
FedEx. That's what I was thinking.
You know what it is.
Capital
Tostitos,
One Orange Bowl. Like we don't call it the Capital One. We call it the Orange Bowl.
Right. Of
Yeah.
course.
So
That's what I'm saying. Fans are not obligated to
Again with this
follow
point.
these things. It's worth.
I like it.
It's worth emphasizing because it's not said enough.
So what do you call when you're going to the Dolphins game? What do you? Where do you say? Your wife says, "Hey, where are you going?" What do you say?
Yeah, Dolphin Stadium.
Really?
If I'm in a good mood, I'll call it Joe Robbie Stadium.
Only if I'm in a good
That was like 9 names ago.
Damn right it was.
What about a
What am I
bad
going to
mood?
call it a land shark?
No,
Miller Lite.
call it by its name.
Doesn't make it light.
I mean, look, as corporate nicknames go, I happen to like Hard Rock Stadium. I think it fits football, the gridiron, Hard Rock.
DraftKings Stadium would be much better.
It would be much better. I would call it DraftKings Stadium.
Now available in all 50 states.
But some of these, Nick, Kaseya Center. What is the Kaseya? What is that company even?
So what do you
I
call
don't
it
even
then?
know. The Heat Arena. I call it the Heat Arena.
So
You've
weird
been
to
FIFA
me.
World Cup
Sounds like one word.
long before everybody else was.
The Heat Arena.
It's the Heat Arena.
Doesn't make it
Lowercase
right.
A.
Isn't it Kaseya?
What is
It
that?
is.
What is Kaseya?
That's how you can say it.
Haaland?
Excuse me, Holland.
I got that
Holland?
right. I'm not backing off.
Holland.
3 A's. There are 3 A's.
How many A's in Kaseya?
How many A's in Holland? 1, not 3. Jessica, do you have any interesting observations on the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce wedding? I don't know what was the most shocking of the details. Let's play some sound here of Charles Barkley. They just invited a bunch of famous people, whether they have relationships with them or not. Let's get some sound here of Charles Barkley on Philadelphia Sports Radio saying that he turned down this invitation.
So you didn't get the invite to the royal wedding at Madison Square Garden then?
I did.
Oh, you did get the invite. You didn't go?
I don't go to weddings. That's one of I don't go to weddings or funerals, but I did get an invite, and I politely declined because I thought it was going to be a crap show. And I love Travis and Jason, and I've only met Taylor one time. But yeah, I did get an invite, but I said, hey, you know what? That's just too much. I just want to hang out and play golf, and I don't want to dress up and all that other stuff.
Jessica, what were your interesting takeaways from the wedding?
For one, I mean, it was 4th of July weekend, so hanging out and playing golf, definitely a good choice by Chuck. Dan, isn't it weird that this wedding was just all A-list celebrities, like thousands of them? Like, isn't it weird that, like, Juju Smith-Schuster was at a wedding with, like, Lena Dunham? Like, I don't know.
Dean Blandino.
Dean Blandino sent me over the edge. You know, I have to say, actually, Lena Dunham, I think is a friend of Taylor Swift, and Juju Smith-Schuster, a teammate of Travis Kelce. So maybe that's a bad example. Maybe those two would have been on the invite list if it was like a 300-person wedding, which is still big. But it's just weird to me that all these, like, Fox and CBS personalities were there, and Andy Reid getting the British paparazzi shot of
George
when you're
Snepolophagus was there.
when you're a prime minister about to resign. This is what happened. This is the photo that the British paps take of you. It was a weird mix of people and just too many of them. And I think Chuck is right. It did sound like a crap show because 20-minute long vows each, Dan. I mean, you are a wife guy. I doubt your vows were even that long.
No, got to wrap that up. You got to get through all of that. Nobody wants to sit through all of that. What happened with Lena Dunham, though? She made everyone uncomfortable, didn't she?
She apparently made a joke at the rehearsal dinner calling football gay, like a performance of gay porn or something along those lines that apparently made a lot of the football players in the room cringe, which is very, and then she sort of like referenced it on her Instagram later, which is very like Lena Dunham like to do. It probably was kind of funny, but gotta hand it to her on that in that one.
You've never made that reference, Dan?
I've made it of MMA, not of professional football. No. Can you
She's
tell
good
me,
at making people uncomfortable.
Can you tell me what happened, or have you read any of the details as to why Adam Sandler was the officiant of this wedding?
Do you yabba dabba do? That's what I'm picturing this wedding officiating. Like, look who's here! It's Timothy Chalamet. Like, what a ridiculous officiant for your wedding. Does anyone know why they picked Adam Sandler?
I don't. I was asking you because I haven't read anything.
I don't know.
I don't have any.
It feels like Travis got to pick like two things. They drove out in some cool sports car, and Adam Sandler was the official. Other than that, it's all Taylor.
I read something that one of his movies is like their favorite together or something along.
Well,
those
and Travis Kelce was in
the
Happy Gilmore 2, yeah.
Yeah, but that's not a reason to make someone. That is not.
I know.
Why was Robin Roberts there?
Exactly.
Your
All
officiant
of
was
the Good
Pablo.
Morning America people were there.
I'm friends with Pablo.
They're friends with Adam Sandler.
Well, maybe they're friends with the Sandman.
You think Taylor Swift is friends with the Sandman? What are your thoughts?
Weird. Dan, I'm sorry. I just have to say, I sound like a hater. Maybe I am. People are going to be mad at me for this. That's fine. It's weird. The whole thing was weird, Dan.
I'm
Go
with
on.
you, Jess.
Just go with it.
What are your thoughts on us every 4 years having exactly the same conversation about the U.S. men's soccer team?
Do people? I mean, I maybe I shouldn't be talking because I have a goldfish brain. But does everyone else also have a goldfish brain? Because I feel like we just rehash, or maybe everyone online is like 18 or 19, and so they just don't really remember the last World Cup when we did the same exact thing where we were like, youth sports are too expensive. There's a lot of options for young boys to play different sports in this country. It's not our biggest sport. It's not our biggest priority. But why are the girls better? But the women's team does this. It's just like we do the same thing every 4 years, Dan, and I'm exhausted by the conversation, to be honest with you. And I also want to go back to Zaz's point about bulletin board material. Do you not think that athletes get motivated by things outside of games to give them extra motivation in a game? Like, that is something that athletes talk about all the time.
Yes, I think there's motivation, but this idea, Jess, that now, like, they really wanted to win the World Cup originally, but now, like, they really want to win the World Cup. That's dumb to me.
Zaz, it's a long tournament. Like, every little extra bit helps when you're in a foreign country for weeks and you have to find new motivation, not just, like, in every round of the tournament, but, like, every minute of the game, when your body is tired and you are out there physically performing, like, every little thing does help. It's not like they didn't already want to beat the U.S., but they did sort of make us look like fools because we were not up for the moment, and they clearly, like, that galvanized their team, I think, pretty evidently.
Right, but us not being up for the moment has nothing to do with Belgium and how hard Belgium wanted to play because they were extra motivated. Like you said it, and I agree. The U.S. was not up for the moment.
I disagree.
I think it put a lot of pressure on the U.S. because they became, I think maybe this isn't the main reason that they lost. I don't think that it is, but I do think they had a lot of pressure on them because of the scandal surrounding the red card and this paused suspension. And I think that would make me, if I were a player and I knew everyone was mad at my team and mad at my teammate, mad at our federation and mad at our president, and, we're in front of our home fans and we have to prove that we belong here despite all of that and despite the fact that, like, we're the home team. We got an easier draw in the group round stage. And this is the game that will determine successful or not successful by a lot of standards. I don't know. I think that would probably put a lot of pressure on me. And then if you, on the other side of that, you see Belgium, like, all right, we're going to prove that these guys are jokers. Kind of think they go hand in hand.
As does the double jerk-off dance. Thank you, Jessica. Good to see you. It's the weekly Notre Dame podcast, The Echoes.
This is not an echo chamber.
With Mike Golick Jr. She does it weekly. Appreciate the time, Jessica. So we are now upset about sponsorships on uniforms and the Monster Energy drink Big 12 conference because we need to pay for everything because it is obviously professional sports. And we say it all the time around here, but I don't know how many people really absorb it. College football is America's second most favorite and most popular sport. It's football, professional football, and then college football, and everything else would have to be a distant third.
Right. I agree with that. But at some point, a line has to be drawn, or maybe not. Like, when are the New York Yankees, when is the name New York Yankees going to have a sponsor's name in front of it? Where during a telecast, all of a sudden, and the Gatorade New York Yankees have taken a 3-2 lead. We'll be back in a moment. I mean, at some point you have to draw a line and say, no, let's keep this sacrosanct.
Dan,
but I don't see that.
Mention Spider-Man on the bases.
We have the New York Knicks brought to you by Abu Dhabi, and we didn't really care about that, did we?
Why do you have to draw a line? You understand that all of this stuff is super expensive. You understand that the rules are being made up as we go along.
Sure.
I thought somehow that in that press conference where that guy was talking about tortillas, that I thought that Yormark was the one who looked like a fool up there doing his Yormark suit dance in his overly pressed suit. Ask that question again so I can be guy who prowls around on stage. Just super business.
TED Talk headset.
I mean, that guy, that whole family. That's how they have Thanksgiving. All of them walk around like that around the table.
Say that
walking
again.
around like that. Say that again so that
Who
I can
said
answer
grace?
not cleverly while
said
looking
grace?
clever, thinking I'm clever. What is that? Ask that question again, tortillas. How did that guy pronounce that twice that
What a
way?
bad one from that guy, huh?
Especially if you're a Red Raider guy. You should know tortillas.
Oh, what?
What? Conor McGregor returns this weekend. Conor McGregor has not won a fight in how long? Has it been 5 years since Conor McGregor
He hasn't been
won?
in the octagon since 2021 when he lost to Dustin Poirier and broke his leg, and Joe Rogan famously laid down next to him.
I'm so offended with what I saw from Conor McGregor yesterday. Can I tell you, Dan?
Please.
Like, he showed up to whatever it was, and, you know, he's going to do a bunch of signings. And it's the deal where, all right, they want him to sign, like, 1,000 different posters. So it's a stack of posters, and he signs it, and they pull it out, and he signs it, pull it. You know what I'm talking about. This was his signature every time.
Check mark.
That's an autograph?
And yet, how much is being paid for that?
It's offensive to me.
Yeah,
How is that your autograph? Write your name.
I mean, if you got to do it 10,000 times, you probably get a
Then
simplified
don't
one.
take the money. If you're going to do autographs, do autographs. He literally...
That's what the money's for.
Just did a line.
It would be better if he had a stamp of his
It
autograph.
would be, actually.
Yeah.
It's offensive to me that that's an autograph.
I
Well,
agree.
more importantly, he's returning for the first time in 5 years, the biggest star in the sport, bigger than the sport itself. And it feels like it's been like very calm. Like nobody's really talked about it. Obviously, the World Cup has taken precedent and NBA free agency and like all of these things have been happening. But Dan, I think Conor McGregor's got his head on his shoulders, kind of screwed on straight. You haven't really heard a lot of the boisterous Coke allegedly talk. You haven't heard like his outlandish comments and the things that he usually does.
He's a man of God
pre-fights.
now.
Man of God seems that things have changed.
Oh, like Russell Brand.
His fight camp has been completely kind of under the radar. He's doing night runs. Like, I think Conor McGregor might be back.
Alien! Come on, man.
I think he might be back, Dan. He might have sold me.
He is very clearly trying to reshape his public image.
Okay.
And perhaps make his life better.
Maybe he has.
It does seem like a playbook, but we'll see how it plays out.
Oh, you're so cynical, though.
I'm not
With
being,
reason.
I'm not being actually cynical about whether he's a changed man or not. I have seen all of the videos. The internet is resplendent with examples of Conor McGregor seeming coked out. I actually understand when anyone in that sport decides to self-medicate however they self-medicate because whatever the pain is. I'm strictly looking at this on merit. This person does not deserve to still be the biggest star in the sport based on the resume that measures fighting. Like, the guy has not fought in forever, and I don't want any more Carano freak shows. Like the idea that this guy is living off the fumes of his fame. Don't give me the last time he fought. Give me the last time he won a fight.
He beat Cowboy Cerrone, I want to say, in 2020. So, talking about 6 years.
Okay,
maybe?
like that
it's
is
a comeback fight, Dan, and you've often referenced George Foreman's comeback. In combat sports, you can take a comeback fight seriously. Sometimes it's because they've been locked up. Sometimes it's because they need money. Sometimes it's because they want to see if they still got it. But this is a trope that has been covered seriously several times out.
This is going to be a massive draw, right?
Huge. Plus, he's fighting Max Holloway, which is a great stylistic fight for him. Both guys stand up. Both guys are going to trade absolute bangers.
Yeah, there is a lot going on, though. I mean, we've seen it. Serena, it went quietly. Yeah. Having this happen on the last double match day of the World Cup.
Yeah, Mike, but you're bringing up Serena, and look how she looked after that layoff. She's won more recently than Conor McGregor. Like, that's what they look like after those kinds of layoffs.
Yeah, but they didn't handpick opponents for Serena to look good and make some more money. Right. They're doing that with Conor because it's a gravy train.
This is not, though, the best of fighting. It's not the best of mixed martial arts. It's just two names who are strikers getting in an octagon. And this
Max still has it, Dan.
Yeah, we like it. Again, my controversial opinion, I like watching people fight for money. Yeah. And if you're telling me that if there is any truth to Conor McGregor cleaning up his act and focusing on training when he was very clearly one of the lead examples on, well, this guy's got some off-the-court stuff. This guy's got distractions. Maybe it's playing into why he's diminished so much in the octagon. Can he lock back in? His style can age with grace. He can still pack a punch. He can still strike. If he's locked in, I like to see it. So I get the curiosity. I think this is closer to Tyson coming back than it was to, Mike Tyson coming back against Jake Paul.
100%. And to quote Amin, who I think quotes Family Guys, like, anything could be behind that door. It could even be a boat. Like, we could see Conor McGregor be the Conor McGregor of old.
No,
and for
we can't.
one night, Dan,
no, we can't.
for one night in Las Vegas, Dano, which is going to be incredible. The vibes, the views, everything is going to be amazing. What if Conor lands a left hand that knocks out Max Holloway? Dan?
This is not going to be the Conor McGregor of old. It's just going to be an old Conor McGregor. You cannot have these kinds of layoffs and all sorts of questions about whether or not you're using a bunch of blow and whether you're addicted to blow or not, and have this kind of layoff and have anything in the tank.
You thought Mike Tyson was going to kill Jake Paul. Yeah. You
he
covered,
was
I
in
remember
his
that.
50s, Mike.
You covered George Foreman with reverence and did really good work around
Paul's
it.
not a real fighter. Like, this is Max Holloway.
Holloway. Like, he's handpicked. He's handpicked. It's got to be a good. There's a curiosity there. There's not like, oh, this is Gina Carano train wreck. And if it is, then that's it. We're done. Maybe they feed him to somebody else. Maybe they feed him to Patty, and don't tell me that people still won't pay to watch a washed-up Conor McGregor.
Patty's co-main event against Benoit Saint-Denis, Dan.
Yeah, like, people will still – he is a draw in a sport that has felt his absence. And if he has cleaned up his act, if he can put up a good fight that is not embarrassing, hell, if he wins, heaven help you. Yeah. Because you're going to be seeing a hell of a lot more of him.
I think all of these comebacks in this situation – all they have going for them is the curiosity factor. And it was that way with Serena. And by the way, Serena's opponent was just tailor-made for her to win. Okay, they didn't arrange it like that, but it was. Her opponent was ranked 87th in the world. She had never won anything. Serena was built to win that, but she was 44 years old. She hadn't competed in 4 years, and it looked like it. And I think when in this case, you root against Conor McGregor, I think. I don't know that he's likable.
I think you root for him to win. I mean, This is a guy across the way who's Max Holloway, another legend of the sport.
You're rooting for the sport, though, Tony. You think the sport
I'm a
needs
man
it.
of the shield. Yeah, like the NFL. I like to watch good games. Like college football, I like to watch good games. Like, my rooting interest doesn't really matter. But, like, to have Conor McGregor walk out for possibly the last time and do what he can maybe do, is land a left hand that can sleep Max Holloway, who was only previously knocked out one time in his entire career by Ilia Topuria. we're having a legendary moment. Dan, I thought that's what sports was for you. Is the legend is the guy that maybe he can have one more last run?
It's usually not 6 years between wins, like in anywhere in sports. It's generally not something that I'm watching anywhere in sports.
Rocky Balboa did it against Mason the Line Dixon. What a name.
That's a great
Mason
reference.
the Line Dixon. That's a name.
It's been one of the great story arcs of the entire World Cup. This older generation, do they got one more in them? Does Ronaldo have one more in him? Does Luka Modric have one more in him? Does James Rodriguez have one more in him? Now the answer for all of those, a resounding no. But with Messi, guy seems to have 12 more in him.
Get me the way that reporter pronounced tortillas.
Tortillas.
How does that happen?
Tortillas.
He said it that way.
Does
both
he have a stutter?
times. No, that is not a stutter. He said it that
Twice.
way twice. He said he only stuttered on that word that way twice.
Tortillas.
Tony, you were saying?
It's like he's trying to like screw that up. Like that seems purposeful.
Tortillas.
Not that tough a word.
He did it twice too. It's like hard to do it twice.
Tony has a top 5 winners of this World Cup. Are you guys ready for this? Top 5 winners. I can't imagine that he's got a winner bigger than Messi.
Ooh, not on the list, Dan. Messi not on the list right now. Nope. It was my World Cup winner so far. We're gonna start in the OLI. The U.S. team for 61 seconds after the equalizer. It was even, but it felt like a win for 61 seconds. I went to the bathroom and then I came back and they scored. And I was like, what happened? It's like, I was like, yeah, they scored. And I was like, oh.
You know that guy's German?
I knew it.
See, this is why I like the hydration breaks. If you waited for the hydration break, you go to the bathroom, you wouldn't miss anything.
I know, 100%. I also didn't think they were going to score in 61 seconds after the U.S. equalized it with a ball that ricocheted off the guy that they brought in's head. Number 5, Cabo Verde. Winners of the World Cup. Yes, eliminated, had an incredible game against Argentina.
Yeah.
Now
Tied.
everybody knows what the place was because
Yep.
nobody knew what it was before.
Right? Tied Spain.
Zaz. They have a great fans.
Some
I
good
know.
fans. Some good fans.
Great fans.
I know.
Number 4, winners of the World Cup, the cameraman. You mean to tell me they always find it? How?
Great shout.
How do they always find it? Number 3.
Do you think the production like room is as lecherous as you think? Like,
Yes.
Hey,
Yeah.
they say, hey, look, hey, there's a good one.
Yeah.
Section
Yes.
12.
Yeah.
Yes.
Row 9.
Yes.
They always find it. Somehow,
Who's the
some way.
spotter?
That dude looks so lecherous.
Number 3. Let's
that
pull up.
Bono?
Let's pull up this Mexican fan who is one of the winners of the World Cup. See, he's here, just normal, just hanging out, doing his thing. Oh, a beer passes by. Wait a second, I got a long straw.
Wow.
We got a couple of gulps.
Wow.
Here we go. Yes, sir.
Wow.
See, Dan, the trick is you get the Mexican flag, but it's a long straw.
Wow.
Somebody walks by with an open beer.
That guy is
Brilliant.
a thief.
A bit Looney Tunes, yes.
Genius.
Notice Mr. Beast is in that shot for some reason. Very weird.
Here we go, a little slurp here.
That's excellent work. That is a very long straw that he stole some beer out
A
of.
little too much foam you saw. You had to
Yeah,
spit it
I
out.
did see that.
Number 2, winners of the World Cup. Anybody who had a small follower account that now has a massive follower account. This guy, I think, was the goalie for the Cape Verde team. 27 million followers. You don't have to do soccer anymore. You don't really have to do anything anymore. You just become an influencer with that amount of followers. People pay you whatever for that amount of eyeballs.
Being linked to Inter Miami, Fozinha.
Number 1, winner of the World Cup, Haaland. He's been the winner, Dan. Every video, every meme, every row, everything is Erling Haaland.
Look at that Adam's apple.
He's got a lot of Gronk in him, personality-wise.
He'd be a great tight end. If he was born in America, he'd be one of the best tight ends in football.
But just the way that he interviews, sort of a playful meathead that everyone loves, who's a little
Looks
bit
at his own reflection, says what's up to it.
strange and wonderful as well. A lot of surface area on all of those forehead headers.
Tortillas.
Against the Spread is brought to you by DraftKings Sports. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Mike Ryan, what do we got?
So I think Belgium's going to be feeling themselves, smelling them farts. And I think Spain is capable of playing a lot better than we've seen so far. Lamine Yamal has not gotten going. Rare. Subject to a lot of criticism. Rare when a 19-year-old is being looked at, hey, man, you're not carrying us enough, like you did in the Euros, like you do for Barcelona. I think Lamine Yamal gets going against a Belgium team that I like the United States' chances entering that match against. Now, they shut us up big time, but I think the run is over. And I'm going Spain -1.5. I think they win by more than a goal. The market price on DraftKings Sports is +186. That is my pick.
Tony.
England had an incredible game going to Azteca. Mike, we didn't even talk about that game. What an incredible atmosphere. Harry Kane stepped up and did his thing. I think they're going to be feeling themselves a little bit too much too. Plus, against the other side, against the spread, Erling Haaland of Norway, the aforementioned #1 winner of the World Cup so far. I'm going to take Norway plus half a goal. I think Norway's going to beat them.
I like it.
Outright, but I'm going to take them with plus half a goal against the spread. Market price 105. They've got the best fans 105.
How does Messi not make your list of top World Cup
Because he's always
winners?
a winner, Dan. And it's like, what, I'm going to kick out the Mexican guy with the straw for Messi? No. I'm going to kick out Haaland for Messi? No.
6 straight matches in the knockout round with a goal.
That's cool, yeah.
Whereas,
sure.
like, Ronaldo famously doesn't score in the knockout round. Messi does every time.
I'm going to kick out the camera guys for Messi? No.
Is there any chance, we'll get to Juju in just a second here, is there any chance that Ronaldo comes to MLS? Like, is that a possibility in any way that he plays in his 40s and follows Messi and uses that as a career move that banks on the economy that is the fame in his name?
I think that right there is a check on the con side, is that he'd be following Messi.
I think he makes about $1 billion a week in Saudi. So,
yeah, that's a deterrent.
$335 million, I think, this year.
So today is the 16-year anniversary of the decision, and Brian Windhorst says of LeBron James, if you ask me, are the vibes pointing toward Cleveland? Yeah, the vibes are pointing towards Cleveland, but it's just vibes. And The Ringer did a 90-minute podcast about the best fits for LeBron. None of their 3 hosts had the Heat in the top 5.
Oh, big shocker. The Ringer doesn't think LeBron should be here.
They are so good at that. They're so good at that.
It's just to get Jeremy.
I'm jealous.
And
of
they do it every time.
The producer's like, how can we piss off Jeremy Tash?
We're learning, Jeremy. We're fighting them at their own game.
No, we did.
We don't have the same kind of resources, but we're fighting them.
Let's go ahead and update the polls at Le Batard Show. Juju, welcome. What do you have for us today, sir?
Yes, sir. You know what, Jeremy, that you have that they don't have at the Ringer? They don't have Juju Gotti as a fan of their team anymore. Take that,
right.
Ringer. So you win. Is Crybaby redundant? 49% of the audience says no, it's not. And 51% of the audience says yes, it is.
Yeah, that's how that one worked.
Did you feel bad for Egypt yesterday? 65% of the audience said yes, they did. Damn, I did too, man. I can't lie, Greg. I was feeling bad. I was like, damn, them boys done did it. And lo and behold, Freddy Krueger around the corner. Pulisic, tone-deaf fool. 93% of the audience says yes, he is.
Wow. It's just getting crushed.
That's going to be a record. 93%.
Play that wah, 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 at my funeral, bro. That is legendary as well. Have you ever heard of someone cutting themselves with a spatula? 92% of the audience says no, they have not.
That's crazy. Nobody has a metal spatula with a super sharp edge anymore. You're using plastic spatulas with forever chemicals? Okay, guys. Love those forever chemicals. Just keep putting them in your gullet.
Do you have to be careful separating frozen burgers? 84% of the audience says yes, you do.
We always gotta be careful with forever chemicals, except when it's heroin.
Is cold bacon better than hot bacon? 91% of the audience says no, it is not. Greg.
The others, they all learn from me.
Have you ever had a meatloaf sandwich? 51% of the audience says no, they haven't.
Wow, educate yourself.
If you are poor, have you had a meatloaf sandwich? 62% of the audience says no, you have not. Are beans better cold than warm? 89% of the audience says no, they are not.
I'm getting crushed here.
And last poll, in the internet age, are we still doing bulletin board material? 67% of the audience says yes, we are, and those are your polls.
Too thin.